Callum McGregor there, Aidan, a terrific player of course, but he's developed into such a fantastic leader, a fantastic captain. He must be an absolute dream for Brendan Rodgers to have around the building.
Of course, I mean, listen, he's won everything at Celtic. He's been here for so long, and he's Mr. Reliable, isn't he? I mean, even before the game, we're talking about who's going to replace him, and the question is, when will that happen? Who's going to be good enough to replace Callum McGregor at this club, and when will that happen? Because he doesn't show any signs of decline. I think last season, probably one of his best goal scoring seasons from that kind of deep line 6 position. I think you've nothing but good things to say about him. I think he has grown into that captaincy role, especially with Scott Brown leaving, and he leads by example. And look, I think he talks very well also. I do think he's very right what he's saying. He's kind of almost backing up the club, and things were getting labelled there and labelled up about the transfer policy. He's saying everyone wants the next new shiny thing, which is very, very true, but he's also got complete faith in his teammates as well. That's one thing I took from what he was talking about there, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, what was interesting actually in his interview there, also he talked about defensive qualities much more than sometimes attacking, coming from him knowing that they have to be super organised against European opposition and not to give up easy chances, and that's maybe a throwback to maybe what they did last year. We talked about already how they were a little bit more defensively well organised, and of course we talked about Kieran Tierney coming back into the team. Yes. That gives him I don't think Kieran's going to get beat very much on a 1v1 situation or at the back post. I hope I'm right in saying that before this game starts.
I think I'd agree with you there.
Yeah, but so I think that was interesting from the captain, just an insight into what he's thinking.
Interesting, Tom, isn't it? Because there's some noise here, you have to say. It's interesting because when we were at Ibrox last night, Billy Dawes, who of course was in the building, he was talking about the real lack of leaders at Ibrox right now. He said the dressing room should be able to look after itself. I look at Celtic right now, I think McGregor, I think Alistair Johnson, I think Kieran Tierney. They've got so much experience and I'd imagine leadership in that dressing room.
Yeah, I think Carter Vickers and Schmeichel as well, players of vast experience. Leaders, standard bearers, they got great presence, and they're, I was saying last night, in watching Rangers, where are the warriors in the team? Where are the guys who'll go with you when things are really, really tough? Celtic have a lot of those players. They don't win every game 3 and 4. They've won a lot of tight games. They've had to battle through. Normally, domestically for sure, they'll win by skill, to steal a line from the great Irish boxer Katie Taylor here. They'll win by skill, but they're prepared to win by will. They've got a great mentality domestically, Celtic, and certainly a number of games for Europe last season they had it as well. So they have a lot of strings to their bow. Rodgers just wants more of these guys, and why wouldn't you? Every Celtic person around the world wants more. I've never come across a club that said, you know what, we're happy as we are. Why would you be?
Absolutely. They've got a great squad. We know that Brendan Rodgers is frustrated. He wants more quality, as any manager would, Pat. What do you feel's key for Celtic to perhaps, maybe it's been too optimistic to get the tie done tonight, but what's key for Celtic, Pat, to take a decent lead away to Kazakhstan next week?
Well, I think, listen, we talked about the qualities that they have up with Maeda, up on that left-hand side, his pace. I don't think these players will come up against pace like that too often. I think the relationship between himself and Tierney has started to develop and improve, and I think also the tempo that Celtic play at, both on the ball and off the ball. I think they'll close him down, they'll put him under severe pressure, and I don't think this Kazakhstan team, watching them, I know they've made changes at the back, and they've made some changes from the team that played at the weekend. They got beat 3-2. Defensively, they were very, very poor, so their confidence is actually down a little bit. They'll be coming here hoping to get out of it with 1 or 2 goals maybe against. I think Celtic can win this game 3, if not maybe 4 goals tonight, if they play to the tempo they played against Falkirk the other night.
Yeah, the players are just in the tunnel coming out, Aidan. We can see the full focus on the face of the captain, Callum McGregor, who we just heard from. And sure, nights like this, Aidan, the memories come flooding back for yourself and Pat. They're always really special occasions. The atmosphere sounds amazing.
Oh, the atmosphere is like any other European night at Celtic Park. Champions League nights are just different here. Yeah, memories come flooding back, nostalgia, and wish I was still playing. If I'm being honest, I wish I was out there, but time moves on, and look, I'm the one watching these players now, and it's a privilege to be here on a night like this, and this is what the Celtic fans want. Every single season, this continually more and more and more of this.
Going to get the job done tonight, do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they look, we don't know a lot about Kairat. We just go what we see on the clips and analyse their form and listen to and read journalist stuff. But I think Celtic at home, decent Celtic team, going pretty well at the start of the season. Yeah, I think they should have enough to build a respectable, healthy lead.
Well, it's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's Celtic against Kairat Almaty in their Champions League playoff match with Pat Bonner, Aidan McGeady and Alistair Lemon.
Thanks, Kenny. Welcome to Celtic Park for the first of 2 games, which will go a long way to shaping Celtic's season. It's the first time in 4 years they've had to come through a qualifier in order to take their place in the Champions League proper. They're looking to get there for a 14th season. Well, Kairat Almaty are aiming to qualify for the very first time. The two teams going through the handshakes. Celtic in their green and white hoops, as always at home. White shorts, white socks. It's black and yellow stripes for the visitors, black shorts and black socks, as they come to an arena where Champions League nights, as the guys are saying, are always something a little bit special. This to ensure they experience that for another season and get back into that league phase where they acquitted themselves really very well on the whole last season, only losing out ultimately to Bayern Munich. And it was a terrific European run. Celtic really making a name for themselves on the European stage, and here they have the opportunity to make sure that once again they are dining at the top table in Europe. Kairat Almaty, well, this is the furthest they've been in Champions League qualifying. You might remember they beat Aberdeen in a European qualifier 10 years back, and Celtic have never come up against this particular team. They've always emerged on top when they played Kazakh sides before, winning each of their 3 home ties, and they'll be looking to do that again tonight to take a handsome advantage out to Almaty, which I can tell from experience of travelling out there with Aberdeen is a heck of a long way to go for a European tie, virtually on the Chinese border in the east of the country. So Celtic will want to be well in command of the tie by the time they get there in 6 days' time. It will be the visitors to get us underway here. They're going from right to left as we look at it from our position in the centre of the main stand. And the Norwegian referee Espen Eskas just takes a look around, does his final checks to make sure everything is in order, and we will be underway momentarily. And you're looking for a quick start to this one from Celtic to try and intimidate the visitors as much as possible, and Ida immediately closing down Sorokin as he tried to play the ball forward, and it's skipped behind for an early goal kick to Kairat Almaty, who are sitting second in the Kazakhstan League after 20 games, behind Astana on goal difference right now, but having played a game more, there's only 6 games left in that league season as they try to win the title for a second successive year. Won it by a point last year, their 4th ever title. They've got a throw in here on the left hand side as they look to just play their way into the game. Sorokin, the Russian left centre back, goes back to his goalkeeper Zurutsky, who launches it long up in the direction of Satpayev. I think we'll hear a fair bit about him if his reputation is anything to go by, the 17-year-old. But Carter Vickers picks up inside his own area and plays it square to Kasper Schmeichel, who goes out to Liam Scales at the edge of the penalty area, and then down the left hand side for Tierney. Back with Scales midway inside his own half. Atati comes short and rolls it back to Schmeichel. Celtic look to get into the rhythm early on here. Carter Vickers out to Johnston clips that in looking for Forrest, but it's cut out on this left hand side by Tapalov. I wasn't sure whether Tapalov or Marinsky would play left full back. It looks like Tapalov is the one who will do that. Usually both of them are right backs. As forward come Kairat Almaty down that right hand side. It could be an early opportunity here if they can flash this ball across goal. It's Maida back doing the defending to cut out the attempted cross, but at the expense of a corner, and Celtic package just have to be wary in these early exchanges.
Yeah, they have. It's a decent enough start from the opposition, and they played a few long balls just to get up to that big striker, Ed Milson, 6'3" up front. He scored 2 goals in the weekend from corner kicks actually, so he is powerful. The 2 centre halves, of course, is the other 2 big players this up, so they have to mark them tightly now for this first corner,
which is on the right hand side. It'll be taken left-footed out there, the in-swinger towards the back post, and it's one at the back post by a Kazakh head there, but it's wide of.
Almost the kiss of death there, Packy.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Sorry, Alfred, got to cross it. That's exactly where he scored his goals at the weekend. That in-swinger all the way to the back post, coming in, can almost round the back. He's a big lad. He's good in the air.
Who's picking him up here?
It's going to be another corner.
Tierney.
As Emilson was blocked off as he got the header in, ended up just a yard or so wide, but an early threat here as the crowd just quieten slightly. Short corner's taken and it's swung, it takes a deflection. Carter Vickers underneath it, gets a half clear to the edge of the penalty area, picked up by Satpaev. He'll try and return it, flicked on, but Johnston takes charge over on that far side, chests it down and takes it out to the left, and then calmly plays it back to Carter Vickers, and Celtic survive that. Just a little moment of disquiet at the back, particularly when the initial corner came in. But here comes Kieran Tierney out to Dyson Maida, left hand side, but 15 yards from the corner flag. Back to Tierney it goes, and then Maida once more for McGregor. In field for Johnston, who's in a central area right now. He just manages to get it back to McGregor under a bit of pressure, and now it's Tierney once more, interchanging with Hattati, who tries to play it through for McGregor. It's a clever ball, and it's back with Hattati on the angle of the box, left hand side. Now Johnston plays it out to this right flank for James Forrest. Forrest trying to make some headway down the right. He goes back the way in the end to Carter Vickers as Celtic retain possession. Carter Vickers finds Forrest once more. He just overcooked the pass for Johnston. Better Celtic possession, and the first chance to really hear the thoughts in 4 minutes in of Aidan McGeady.
I think it's been a positive start from the team so far. I think it's interesting though with Forrest, most of the time he does like to come inside, so Johnston does have to be on his bike, that kind of underlap and run, which unfortunately there Forrest just overhit the pass, but I think we're going to see a lot of joy on this right hand side.
Played forward, but a foul by Callum McGregor in the centre circle gives a free kick to Kairat Almaty, and allows them to get themselves upfield as Ofri Arad, one of their Israeli central midfielders, just rolls it to his right to the captain Martinovic, the Belarusian 37-year-old veteran, and that's a loose pass, and Maida, he's taken down by Martinovic, and that's surely going to be a yellow early on. It is indeed. There was just a momentary lapse in communication there. Martinovic was slow to go for it, and he ended up taking Maida down as he swept down that left hand side. Celtic trying to take the free kick quickly, that'll be taken again, but a yellow card in the opening 5 minutes for Alexander Martinovic, and he's got to tread warily for the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely a yellow card, professional foul, because he was caught short. He had to take Maeda down, otherwise Maeda was through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. I know it was quite far out, still out in the left hand side, but he had all that space to go and exploit, and with his pace he was odds on to go and attack that goal.
Here's the free kick then to be taken by Nugren, left-footed in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. A good take from the goalkeeper. Back a year of appreciated that from Zarutski. He came out a fairly long way, but commanding nonetheless to relieve the pressure on his defence, and it's still 0-0 after 6 minutes between Celtic and Kairat Almaty in the first leg of this Champions League playoff qualifier, with the riches of the Champions League at stake.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the goalkeeper and they've done their analysis after the game against Falkirk. Celtic put in so many crosses into the box, and it was a feature of their game which is a little bit sort of kind of unusual for Celtic under Brendan Rodgers. They normally keep the ball and knock it around a little bit and wait for the moment, but they put crosses in. They must have put 20 crosses in the first half in that game, so he's obviously done his homework.
Gromiko's gone down clutching his shin or his ankle, but the referee saw nothing wrong with the challenge, and Celtic continue in possession. Almost 7 minutes on the clock, no goals as Celtic come forward down the right hand side. Forrest skips away from his marker, across comes Arad, plays it off Forrest, and he's unfortunate to see that bounce off him and behind for a goal kick. But we're talking about, we heard Callum McGregor here and refer to everyone's looking for the shiny new thing, and I wonder if sometimes people like James Forrest almost suffer because they've been around for so long, and there's that constant desire for change, rather than just appreciating someone who's been here for so long and has still got that quality.
Listen, Jamesy still has that quality. Of course he does. He wouldn't be playing tonight if he didn't, but that is the ever-evolving thing at being at a club like Celtic. There's always an onus on who's the next player coming in, can we improve, and listen, James has seen off so many wingers in his time, maybe one of them, if I'm being totally honest. But for him to be starting tonight probably shows it's a massive compliment, I think, to how far he's come in his career and outstanding service he's been to Celtic.
Yeah, incredible. 118 appearances in Europe, apart from anything else, as Maida goes down the other flank, the left hand side. Celtic looking for a corner and they get it.
Nice little give and go there, just to get in behind the fullback, and the fullback, all he could do was just get his toe to the ball, but he gave away a corner. Just looking at the way that Almaty was set up, they're almost set up with a 4-2-3-1 at the moment, keeping it quite tight in the centre.
Here's Nugren then left hand side with the outswinger to the near post. It's won by Sorokin, the central defender, and it's going to be another corner. Celtic look for an early opening goal.
It's one thing that you probably miss about Engels, though, is Engels' set piece delivery is always on the money.
It was incredible the other night, Packy, wasn't it, against Falkirk? Just exceptional, just about every single time.
What would you prefer, Packy, to defend an outswinger and an inswinger here?
Oh, for me, from a goalkeeper's perspective, you're talking about. I prefer swinging away from the goal, not in on top of me. But it's important that Tierney's in on the goalkeeper, and they've got a defender in around them.
Forrest just trying to link out there with Nugren, doesn't quite come off as they try to work the short corner, and Forrest's return ball just goes behind for a goal kick. So 9 minutes gone, no goals to report as yet between Celtic and Kairat Almaty. Sorokin plays it up towards the halfway line. Minovsky tries to link here with Jorginho. Jorginho's got the better initially of Alistair Johnston, manages to hold on to possession well here on the left hand side. Minimal contact on the back of the Kairat player. He goes to ground, but he does win his side. A free kick in a decent position, left hand side, midway inside the Celtic half.
Yeah, once you touch one of these players, are going to go down. He didn't really need to, because he was going back towards his own goal, and he's going to play that ball back, but now he's given away the free kick, Johnson, and it just puts a little bit of pressure on again.
I think you can kind of see the way that they're trying to play. They're a very big team, and they're looking for set pieces.
It's going to be taken by Gromiko, left hand side, plays it in, it comes off the head of Ida all the way to the back post at the angle of the box on the right hand side. Kairat looking to work the opportunity here. They get to the byline, the cutback comes in, it's nodded down by Ed Nielsen, poke towards goal, big chance here, goal!
Offside.
Oh, it's offside! Oh, massive sigh of relief inside Celtic Park. It will be checked, of course, by VAR, but my goodness, hearts were in mouths there as Kairat Almaty forced it home, and Nielsen won the initial header, and then it was knocked home. Kasper Schmeichel struggling, but the decision is quickly ratified by VAR. But my goodness, what a scare that was.
Yeah, but he's a big lad. I'm telling you, Ed Nielsen, that's twice now that he's won balls in the air. Obviously from the first corner, and he obviously won it there also. So he is a threat inside the box from crosses or from set pieces, and they have to deal with him.
Yeah, a let off there certainly for Celtic, and The scoreline remains goalless, but certainly, as Aidan's pointed out, they are looking to win set pieces, and then when they do get them, they're going to be a threat with Nielsen, the towering central figure.
That first bit of spark from Sarpaya there as well, just a bit, that burst of pace when the cross stood up to the back post. I don't know who was against there on the kind of right hand side, but 16 just on 17 already signed for Chelsea. That's the first spark we've seen from him.
Brilliant play by Tierney down the left hand side, swings it in near post. Sorokin with the clearing header. McGregor will try and retrieve it. It's nodded on there by Gromyko, but McGregor eventually does pick up. 12 minutes in, no goals between Celtic and Kairat Almaty. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. It's Dyson Maida picks up, loses out though. Gromyko goes back the way to his full back, who knocks it forward. Marinsky, and out of play. And the throw will have to be taken just a little bit further back than Tierney wanted to take it.
The one thing about this team is that they're in the middle of their season, so they're sharp. They're you know, you can see it. They've got a lot of little quick players also in the team, so they are in a good shape physically.
Yeah, they're already looking like a decent outfit as Nugrino picks up possession, drifting in from the right hand side, looking for Ida, which is behind him, and it's clipped away by Martinovic, the captain. Scales though, it's out to Johnston, who goes back to Carter Vickers. Plays it square to Scales, who gets the nod ahead of Austin Trusty. Seems to be the preferred partner at this stage of the season, at least for Carter Vickers, who's pretty much a first pick for Brendan Rodgers. Here's Hattati just inside the Kairat half, back to Carter Vickers, and then out to the right hand side for James Forrest. Comes in off that right flank and plays it square to Hattati, quickly on to Scales, who shuffles it out to Tierney. Tierney advancing up towards the edge of the penalty area, swings it in to the 6-yard box, but it's a comfortable take in the end for Zarutsky, the goalkeeper.
You can see the gaps appearing though, the longer Celtic are controlling possession, and even then Alistair Johnson made the overlap on the right hand side and Forrest got the ball. There was space because the centre half pushed across and Nigan pushed in that space there he made the run beyond the striker there, so you can see holes starting to appear here the longer Celtic are in possession.
Kairat pick up in the middle of the park, but dispossessed there was Arad. They've won it back though, and forward they come through Glazer forward. Satpaev, was he nudged in the back? He was looking for something, the referee not taken in by at that time. Celtic play a 1-2 between Hattati and McGregor, and now they're striding forward through the captain, tries to feed Maida, he's just overhit the pass. That's not the first one tonight from a Celtic player. McGregor, who you would usually bargain on to measure that absolutely perfectly, just overdid it as he burst forward at pace, and Maida couldn't catch it. Behind for a goal kick. 14 and a half played. Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0. Celtic just looking for that early breakthrough that might settle any Champions League nerves, but not forthcoming as yet, as Zarutsky prepares to take this goal kick. All in reds, the keeper launches it over the halfway line, flicked on by Ed Nielsen, who's going to be a handful for Carter Vickers and Scales, no doubt. And it's played out on that far side. It'll be a throw into Kairat.
Yeah, it's a good option for them, isn't it, to play that ball long up to him and then get support around him. And they've got those quick players, and Giorgino and Glazer and Arad, all backing up, at the long ball.
Launched again over the halfway line by Zarutsky. Just glanced down by Carter Vickers cleverly to Scales, who turns it back to Schmeichel. Schmeichel, short ball to Carter Vickers once more. Now Scales just on the edge of his own penalty area, out to the left hand side for Tierney, quickly closed down by Gromyko, but gets the pass off towards Maida, intercepted by Martinovic as Kairat trying to come forward down the right hand side, but Maida and Tierney combine to win possession back for Celtic. Pretty even so far, you would have to say. Kairat certainly looking like a side that are well into their season, champions of the league for a reason.
you know, you obviously would like to see Celtic get that first goal, wouldn't you? You know, that might, you know, knock the confidence out of them a little bit, but they are very sharp at the moment. They're working very hard, and they've got that threat up front. There's no question about it.
Throw into Celtic over on the far side. Tierney for Hatate, now back to Carter Vickers. Out to Johnston, right hand side, just inside the Kairat half. Out to Forrest it comes now. Back with Alistair Johnston once more. Carter Vickers plays it square to Scales on the halfway line. The Irishman begins to come forward. Out to Maida it goes, midway inside the Kairat half, comes infield to Hatate. Hatate with a lovely ball with the outside of the boot to Tierney. Tierney just into Forrest. Forrest in the penalty spot. It's just poked away in the end by Satpaev, who come back through the defending to help his teammates out. But good play down the left hand side from Celtic. They've quickly taken the throw in. We'll get the guys' thoughts on that in a moment as Hatate goes back to Carter Vickers and then out to the right hand side to James Forrest. Back the way he comes as he's well tracked by Tapalov. Now it's Scales. Tierney started the game in lively fashion. He goes back to Scales once more. Little 1-2 there between Scales and McGregor as Scales picks up once more and looks infield to Nugren. Hatate takes it off his toes and plays it to Johnston. Johnston just squeezes it out to Forrest in time and then continues his run. Forrest though goes infield to Nugren on the edge of the box, trying to find room for the shot. Quickly though surrounded by Kairat bodies, and they've sprung free, and now there's a foot race on between Carter Vickers and then Nielsen, which you can hear by the applause is won by the Celtic defender. He turns it back to his goalkeeper. They've played 18 minutes almost, still no goals, but Celtic just beginning, it feels, to click into gear. As Scales plays it square, this time Carter Vickers is the one on the left hand side of the central pairing. And now it's Tierney back to Carter Vickers. Scales once more for Johnston, just inside his own half, looks forward. Forrest's there on the right touchline, comes infield away from Tapalov, and then gets his head up, tries to play it to Nugent. It's a poor ball though from Forrest, and the counter could be on. It's led by Satpaev. He's got his head up, tries to slip that in. Edmilson now plays it square, big chance here. It's Jorginho onto the left foot, blocked by Scales. Out comes Schmeichel and takes that. That was promising again for the visitors, and they are going to have to be closely watched. Immediately up the other end, and Adamina's been penalised for the challenge on Martinovic. But that's a couple of times already, Aidan, that Kairat Almaty have shown that when they get the opportunity going forward, they are going to be dangerous.
They're sitting in this mid-block and they're just waiting on an opportunity to bounce, which they've done there with Forrest with the kind of slack pass. But great play again by Satpaev, and I do think when Emilson cuts the ball back, he has to get the shot way quicker. Great defending in the end. I think it was Carter Vickers that got the block in, but I do think that was a massive opportunity, a massive let-up. Look, you've seen Celtic come back in numbers there, but they are playing this first 15-20 minutes quite well, if I'm being honest, Kairat.
Here is Nielsen linking with Jorginho again, who's playing just off him. Portuguese. Tapalov in support. Now Arad in the midfield. Jorginho will give chase. Johnston's there just before him though to get it to Schmeichel, and then he'll calmly play it out to the right hand side to the Canadian Johnston once more. McGregor comes and offers himself and then plays it short to Nugent. Back to Johnston once more, still deep in his own territory. 0-0 after 20 minutes here at Celtic Park.
Yeah, just going back to that chance, it came from Forrest cutting on the inside, but he was looking for a run from either Adamida or Maeda so he could just knock that ball over the top, and the run didn't come, and eventually then he gave a poor pass away and they got caught on the transition.
Here they are coming forward once more. Kairat Almaty as Edmilson tries to squeeze it through for the runner, but Celtic get bodies in the way and the crowd try to lift them once more.
One thing is they do seem to be very, very quick in the transition. It's 1-2 passes and they're through. They're not taking a lot of time on the ball, they're not taking a lot of time possession. I do think at this stage maybe Celtic kind of need to look a little bit quicker in their play.
Big switch from Tierney out to the right hand side looking for Forrest. It's one there and just knocked out a play by Tapalov. And throw-in's quickly taken by Johnston into McGregor. McGregor plays it infield to Hatate, just knocks it back to Scales on the edge of the centre circle inside the Kairat half. Hatate once more Back to Scales again, looks up, plays out to the left hand side for Kieran Tierney, quickly closed down by Gromyko, and has to go back to Scales, who will in turn play it into the centre circle for Carter Vickers. Johnston comes and looks for it and then plays it out to Nugren right hand side. Poor pass there to Forrest, but he gets away with it. Nugren, as he picks up the loose ball and then finds Forrest. Forrest steps away from his marker into Hattati. Hattati, 25 yards from goal, just tries to dink it through. Nugren won't catch it, and the Celtic fans just growing a little bit disgruntled by 2 or 3 passes that have gone astray. A little bit of untidiness perhaps in the Celtic play, but still finely balanced this one then as we approach the midway point in the first period. Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0.
Yeah, I just have a little bit of slackness in great positions, by the way. You know, I think there's about 3 or 4 passes that they've either overhit or just didn't quite get the angle on it for somebody to run onto, and yeah, that's maybe just the frustration. The build-up play's been good to that point, but it's just the final ball.
Goal kick taken by Zarutski, picked up in the midfield rather fortunately there by Arad, who gets it back once more from Glazer and then out to this left hand side to Satpayev. Interesting battle here between him and Johnston, who's an experienced campaigner now, and gets the better of him there and manages to get it back to Carter Vickers, and then Nugren finds Forrest looking for options midway inside his own half. Goes back the way to Carter Vickers with nothing really opening up ahead of him. Celtic get it out the far side, played forward rather aimlessly by Tierney though. Martinovic picks up and knocks it up towards the halfway line. Scales there ahead of Ed Nielsen, who's already showed his threat in the air. He's back with the goalkeeper Zarutski, again looks to go long, and then Nielsen chests it down for Jorginho, and then Arad picks up in the midfield just inside his own half, then tries to play it down the right hand side. It wasn't a bad idea with the full-back Rinsky going forward, but it was cut out by Tierney, and now McGregor picks up. We are just beyond the halfway point in this first period, and still no goals between Celtic and Kairat Almaty in this crucial Champions League qualifying match. And I think we've already learned this is not going to be plain sailing for Celtic.
Yeah, Celtic's build-up play has been decent to a point, but there's no runs in behind. There's nobody penetrating that back four yet.
Might do that now as Forrest picks up right hand side up against Tapalov, has to come back the way under pressure there from Glazer. Goes back to Scales midway inside the Kairat half. Everyone behind the ball for the visitors right now as he plays it short to McGregor and out to the left hand side for Maida. Back to McGregor once more, left hand side. 24 played, no goals at Celtic Park as Hattati has it. Looks one way then the other. Still he has it, the Japanese midfielder spins away, trying to get loose of the shackles of Gromyko, who's sticking to his task. Hattati plays the 1-2 with Scales, then rolls it back to Schmeichel, who's well advanced. He plays it out to the halfway line on the right hand side is Johnston. Now Carter Vickers, square for Scales. Celtic have to remain patient, as do the fans, just to ensure there's nothing cheap given up and to work the openings. Slightly slack pass there from Carter Vickers, but Forrest gets to it first. Johnston's helped it on to Nugren at the byline now. The cut back looking for Hattati, well blocked by Martinovic. Sampaev under pressure at the edge of his own area. Hattati's taken it off his toes, right hand side, tries to play it back to Johnston. It comes off Sampaev. That was better.
I think he does stand there on his own on the 6-yard box as well, if there's a look up.
Here's Hattati, edge of the penalty area, tries to play it short to McGregor. That wasn't a great pass, and they'll try and come away on the transition once more. There was a pull there by McGregor, but Kairat continuing possession through Ed Nielsen. He goes back the way to Satpayev on the halfway line. Jorginho picks up now, and infield he goes to Glazer. Martinovic forward now to Arad, and spun out to the right hand side to Marumski. Back it goes to Martinovic. Marumski once more on the right hand side, looks to link there on the right flank with Gromyko, knocked out of play. It's a yellow card's coming for McGregor for that pull back off the ball. The referee spotted it, and although he didn't penalise it at the time because they were countering pretty promisingly, McGregor does go into the book. He joins his opposite number, Kairat captain Martinovic in the referee's notebook. 25, almost 26 played, no goals as it's played forward down the Kairat right. Nodded away by Tierney, but picked up by Arad. Now it's Jorginho out to the left hand side to Tapalov. Tapalov at the angle of the box, left hand side. He'll really want that on his right foot, naturally right side. He plays it back to Jorginho, clips it into the area, scales, back pedals and gets the header clear. Picked up by Gromyko, hoisted high in the air. It's not a great clearance though. Playing for handball as it's knocked back in. Scales gets the header clear. But the referee now whistles for the handball, I think, that was committed by Marinsky. But Kairat showing once again that when they get into Celtic's final third, that they will be potentially dangerous, and Celtic still unable to find an opening goal. Still 0-0 as it stands, as Nugren comes forward down the right hand side, crossing the halfway line. Glazer trying to get back with him. It's forward for Forrest. Forrest kind of runs into Tapalov, and now he's penalised the assistant, lagging. I'm not sure Forrest did all that much wrong, but as soon as the defender goes to ground, the chances are he's going to get the decision. And 27 minutes in, it's a free kick to Kairat Almaty, deep in their own territory. It's Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0.
I think the shape that Almaty's playing is very, very good actually. They're obviously got their back four, full-backs are trying to take care of the two wide guys, but the two holding midfield players are keeping things very, very strong in the middle of the pitch, not letting Celtic play through them, forcing them wide. And then they've got those other three players up front, obviously Milson, the striker, and then Jorginho is getting into great positions when they're on the transition.
Here's Maida in a decent position left hand side, looking to take on the full-back over in that left flank. Maida eventually comes back the way to Tierney, midway inside the Kairat half, left hand side, up against Gromyko, the winger, looking for options. Hatate comes in, offers himself. Celtic have to go back the way under a little bit of pressure. McGregor can't link with Hatate. It rolls out over the touchline over on the far side, and a little bit of frustration perhaps creeping in.
Slight bit of frustration, I think, from the fans, but I do think Celtic are controlling possession, but just have to be wary of Kairat on the counter-attack, because they have looked very, very dangerous going forward, especially in that transition. It's back inside.
Throw in then over on the far side, midway inside the Kairat half. The throw in to be taken by Marinsky. Goes back the way to his captain Martinovic. Plays it forwards up to Jorginho. I don't think was anticipating Nugren missing that, and it falls back to Carter Vickers, and now Tierney on the halfway line gets it back from McGregor. Then he plays it into the feet of Ida, who's barely touched the ball actually, and he's done well to keep possession there. And now it's Johnston out to Forrest on the angle of the box, right hand side, looking to get the better of Tapalov. Sends it to the back post. Hatate waits for it to come down, then just plays it into Ida. Comes back to McGregor. Shots deflected. That'll be behind for a corner.
Better Forrest. Yeah, good play, wasn't it? You know, Forrest taking somebody on, getting to the byline.
That's what you're looking for from James. Like when he's playing that, I think too often these days he goes inside. As you get older, you kind of come inside and leave the kind of gap for Alistair Johnson. But sometimes you want your wide player just to go and attack the fullback, and that's what he done there, and almost led to a good chance.
Short corner taken by Nugren to Forrest. Nugren picks up once more, right hand side, left footed cross comes in. Carter Vickers having to come back the way, does really well to get up there. It falls to Scales over on the far side, back to Carter Vickers. Kairat Almaty trying to get back into the shape as Johnston picks up and plays it to Hatate midway inside the Kairat half. Now it's Nugren, tries to lift it over the Kairat defence, and it's a last ditch header almost from Glazer to prevent it getting through to Alistair Johnston at the expense of another corner. To be taken by Nugren, right hand side, left footer, could be an in-swinger. Forrest again is the short option. Half an hour gone, 0-0 at Celtic Park in this Champions League qualifier. A bit of pushing and shoving inside the 6-yard box as Tierney hits the deck, and that'll surely be needing a word from the referee.
Yeah, he's trying to push him away from the goalkeeper's space. That could be
a yellow card for Glazer and Tierney for the shoving. The referee is basically assessing that as 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
And Tierney's trying to hold his position, and the defender's pushing him.
So Nugren on the right hand side. Got a 2-on-1 if they go for the short corner, but Forrest is edging away. Nugren sends it in. Out comes the goalkeeper, gets a fist to it. Hatate at the edge of the box, heads it back in to the central area. It's knocked away there by Satpayev and out for a throw-in over on the far side. 0-0 it stands.
Happy with that delivery from Nugren there, because the first 2 or 3 set pieces have been kind of floated to the back post. Looks like it's something that's been worked on in training. It looks like they're kind of floating it towards Scales, but that's the first decent proper delivery that I've seen so far.
Throw it over on the far side to be taken by Tierney. 31 played into the chest of Maida. It goes down near the corner flag left hand side, back to Tierney. He pokes it back to Nugren. Forward ball looking for Hatate is cut out. And forwards come Kairat on the counter attack. And there's a good toe in there, I think, from Scales as he was coming back, just to nick possession there. Otherwise they were in a good position. Johnston's down off the ball as Nugren comes forward to the edge of the box. Can't quite find the room to shoot. Tries to feed it to Maida or Tierney. It finds neither and goes behind for a goal kick. I have no idea what happened to Johnston as he was backtracking. I can only assume there was some sort of collision maybe with Nielsen, but I must admit it was out of my eye line.
I think, I'm not sure, but Satpav, the young 17-year-old, was kind of up against him. I don't know whether he had contact with him. We haven't seen. We won't see the replay of it, but certainly he's gone down very heavily actually, and he's getting treatment. But Celtic are struggling actually to create real clear-cut chances in this game. They're controlling the ball, they're moving it around, but they're not penetrating. They're not getting into positions where they can actually maybe get a cut back or get a shot on goal.
I think we'll find from Celtic's point of view that I think most of the chances and most of the good moments have came from the wide areas, especially Marlon Johnston, Kieran Tierney backing up the wide players. But yeah, right, I do think Adam Idah looks a little bit isolated though.
Yeah, but Adam doesn't, he comes to the ball and he came out towards the ball and he actually got away with it, but that dragged the centre half out of there, created a little bit of space so they could go and play a little bit more penetratively.
That's evidently the tactic for Adam to come short and getting Hatate to run him behind.
Absolutely.
But you're also wanting him to affect the game as well and disrupt the back line.
Yeah, I would like to see Forrest maybe making the odd run, inside and beyond without the ball. Maybe Maida doing the same, and that might free up Adam Idah to get the ball to his feet.
It seems so
or
far,
a ball over the top.
It seems so far whatever Celtic are kind of thrown at them, aside from the kind of last pass, which has kind of been slightly off, they've coped with quite comfortably, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a change going to be required here. Tony Ralston is stripped and ready to come on. Alistair Johnston is stricken on the ground. We're still not entirely clear what happened, whether it was a collision. There is a suggestion maybe he just pulled up off the ball untouched. We'll get clarification of that. Either way, he's in some significant pain. It sounds like actually that is what happened. He just pulled up as he was racing back to cover the counter, and so that is a worry for Celtic, that you would imagine it's some sort of muscular injury that could put him out for a period of time. But certainly Anthony Ralston will come on and play in that right back slot, and his chances have been limited at times, certainly last season. But I must say, Aidan, any time I've seen Anthony Ralston come on, whether it's in Europe or otherwise, he seldom, if ever, lets Celtic down.
No, that's what you want from a... Listen, I think Andy Ralston kind of knows where he is in the squad, and he knows where he is in the pecking order, and he's quite happy to be that kind of second choice right back. And I think he can have no complaints. Alistair Johnston is one of the best defenders at the club, but whenever he's come on and whenever he's picked a spot, like you said, he has been very dependable.
Yeah, but it's a major blow. I know Ralston won't let him down, no doubt about that, but Johnson gets himself into great positions, especially the overlaps or on the inside. He can get to the byline, and there's always a goal in them also. So that's a major blow for Celtic.
Yeah, without question, Johnston is a terrific player, and Ralston comes on then to replace him. And hopefully the news on Alistair Johnston is not too serious in terms of how long he'll be out, as Kairat prepared to take a goal kick. There's 10 minutes left in the first half. There'll be a bit of time added on obviously for that stoppage, as Nielsen and Carter Vickers contest the aerial battle there. Carter Vickers coming out on top, then Scales turns it back to Schmeichel, and Scales picks up once more. Brendan Rodgers was having a fairly animated conversation there with Aramida in that stoppage about, I guess, what he wants him to do to try and get more involved in the play when Celtic are in possession, where he wants him to move to. There he's on the run just now as Scales picks up at the back.
I think he's maybe saying him, because you look how high Kairat's line is. 10 seconds ago they were 15 yards off the halfway line. There's a lot of space in behind. It just seems to be Celtic want to play in front of them.
Here's Maida left hand side, plays it forward for Tierney almost at the byline, tries a little back heel. It doesn't come off, but it does come back to Maida eventually. Now Hattati linked with Nugent. Maida's in behind here, tries to play it across goal. The goalkeeper did really well, not only to block that coming in, but actually played it back off Maida and wins inside the goal kick. Good alert goalkeeping there, but a good intricate move also by Celtic, and unfortunate it didn't lead to anything. 0-0.
I thought he could have just hit it first time when it came back to him. He took a second touch, and that then allowed the goalkeeper to go and close him down. And that if he just hit it maybe on the kind of half volley, I don't know what you think about that, Aidan.
But I think it was perfect. That's exactly what I was going to say. That extra touch just wasn't needed. That played into the goalkeeper's hands, didn't it? And then gives the goalkeeper half a chance to come out and actually affect the ball. But great move by Celtic. I think great intricate play. Probably the best move we've seen so far, I think.
Yeah, tough to agree. Anyway, still goalless as we approach the latter stages of this first period. It's Kairat coming forward, Jorginho out to the left hand side to Satpayev. Tapalov goes beyond him on the angle of the box, comes back in field. Arad now, Arad with a fierce shot just wide. Schmeichel threw himself to his right hand side there and was grateful that it flew past the post. It's still Celtic 0, Kairat 0, 37 minutes played.
Yeah, that man Jorginho again picking up the ball. It was a really good pass from the centre half there. Obviously that's a tactic for them. He's finding up little pockets of space and he's got the ability there, and then he links up with Arad, and it was a really good strike. It wasn't far away.
Yeah, it didn't seem to be, as Ida does some good hold-up work to bring teammates into play. Now it's out to the left-hand side, and Tierney finds Maida on the angle of the box, left-hand side. Tierney, and then back to Carter Vickers. Goalless at Celtic Park, as Forrest picks up right-hand side now. Comes in field for Nugren. Nugren tries the snapshot, blocked by Arad. Comes back the way to Scales, out to the left-hand side for Tierney. Takes a touch and drops the shoulder and tries to get the cross in, which he manages to do. Martinovic gets it clear though, and picked up on the right-hand side there by Gromyko. Clears up towards the halfway line. Scales is there ahead of Nielsen, but then Kairat pick up on the second ball, and it's Gromyko spreading play out to the left-hand side to Satpayev, who'll get a chance here to run it. The substitute Ralston trying to go on the outside initially, then he plays it back to Jorginho. He'll try and curl one. McGregor's in the way, and then Hattati hacks it clear. Picked up on the right-hand side by Brzezinski, and then back to Martinovic. Full back Brzezinski once more. Kairat continue in possession. Brzezinski there at right back once more, goes back the way to his captain Martinovic, who will in turn play that back to his goalkeeper Zarutski.
This is what you don't want though. You don't want Kairat having time in possession on the ball. They kind of, it looks as if they're sort of growing into the game the last 5 minutes now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I imagine they'll be, and their manager down there will be pretty content by the way things have panned out in this first period. Ida shrugs off one challenge, gets the ball out to Maida left hand side. It's a poor delivery from the Japanese forwards as Gromyko went down off the ball. As Ida just held him off. It was a normal football challenge, really just good strength from Ida, and Gromyko goes down as if he'd been shot or something of that nature. Anyway, the referee's tending to him now, but there didn't seem to be an awful lot in it. Eventually gets to his feet, helped by the referee. It'll be a goal kick to Kairat Almaty. We have played almost 40 goalless minutes. Here you're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland as Celtic Park still awaits the opening goal of this European campaign.
I think Kairat Almaty will be very, very happy with this first half performance. You know, they've kind of nullified Celtic to a point, and they've been very, very dangerous at times on that transition and on that counter-attack. Jorginho especially getting into great positions, picking the ball up and then linking up with the wide players, and they are a threat.
throw in to Kairat Almaty just inside their own half to be taken by Erkin Tapalov, Kazakh international on the left hand side. His poor touch as the ball came back to him. Forrest was then surely pulled by Tapalov, and he has indeed won his side a free kick as Jorginho tries to prevent Forrest getting the ball back, and there's a little bit of a tussle, and the free kick by Celtic will have to be taken again as the referee has a word with both Jorginho and indeed James Forrest for that coming together. So it'll be a free kick to Celtic midway inside the Kairat half, right hand side, now taken by Nugren to Forrest, into McGregor now, Ralston back with McGregor, right hand side still, Nugren goes back the way to Carter Vickers. 0-0 it stands here at Celtic Park. Brendan Rodgers pretty animated at the edge of his technical area as Hattati plays it short to Tierney, left hand side, and now out to Maida, back with Hattati once more. Alan McGregor directs traffic and wants it played back to Carter Vickers. That's where it goes, now to the right hand side to Forrest. Can Celtic create something here before half time? Looking for that opening goal. Hattati tries a delicate little dink through, but it's going to come to Aradu. Wonder if it might come off.
There's one thing I find really difficult being a wide player is when the fullback makes that run and takes your space when you have a defender 1v1 like Forrest did there. Ralston's making a good run, but in effect he's making Forrest having to come back inside the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. You know, when I look at it, you know, Ralston's just come on the pitch. He's trying to do what Johnson does and making those sort of underlapping runs, and it's killing the space, as you rightly say, Aidan, for James Forrest to go in a 1v1. Just stay away. Let him try out the fullback. He's done it already earlier on in this game, and he was effective. So leave it with a 1v1 situation.
Scales square to Carter Vickers just inside his own half, then back to Scales, back to Carter Vickers, now out to Ralston, who goes back the way to Kasper Schmeichel. The shape's good from the visitors, the organisation's good, and they have limited to Celtic to few chances, you would have to say, in this opening period. Very little clear cut. In fact, they've probably had the better clear cut chances themselves with just a couple of minutes of the 45
they've had
remaining.
They've had the better openings, haven't they, so far, especially the counter attack. I'm trying to think of a shot. Would you call Maida's chance a shot? Would you call that a half chance?
Probably the best opening that Celtic have had, isn't it? As they do win themselves a throw-in deep into Kairat territory down the right hand side, 10 yards maybe from the corner flag, to be taken by Ralston on just 10 minutes ago to replace the injured Johnston. Here's Nugren inside the penalty area, tries to get it across goal. Going to be a corner. A couple of Kairat players going down in the challenge with Nugren, but the referee points for the corner. It was Sorokin, I think, who took the brunt of that, but he's back on his feet as Nugren prepares to take this corner kick right hand side. Celtic looking for a breakthrough before half time. How welcome that would be inside Celtic Park. Here he comes, Benjamin Nugren. The left-footed delivery is a good one. It's just over Scales. Who did that come off last? The referee points for another corner over on the far side. That was a good delivery again, Aidan, and just unable to turn it goalwards.
You don't want to say Celtic's best chances are going to be coming from set pieces. That's never going to be the case, but so far it kind of looks like it almost has. But two good deliveries in a row there from Nugren. I think Carter Vickers was just a matter of inches away from getting his head on that. But
Nugren left hand side this time. It's the out swinger. It's just over Carter Vickers. He does get something on it. Takes it to Hattati, right hand side. Tries to get the better of his man, who goes to ground. And all of Celtic Park rises in disagreement with the referee's decision, but it is a free kick to Kairat Almaty just outside their own penalty area on the left hand side as they defend it, and we'll shortly get the fourth officials board being shown to let us know exactly how much added on time there is going to be, but it's goalless after virtually the 45 minutes here.
Yeah, and it's I think it's been disappointing in many ways, and I expect Celtic to even create a little bit more than they have in this game. It's 3 minutes.
3 added on at the end of the 45, which we move into now as Carter Vickers sees off the Kairat player down beneath us, almost barges him into the stand here, and Jorginho, who's diminutive, certainly in relation to Carter Vickers, and he was just brushed aside there, and he felt the full force of the muscular American there. Nothing untoward, however, and it is a restart in Celtic's favour as we move into those 3 minutes of added on time. Scales just inside his own half, tries to play it forward. It's a straight ball, and you can hear the disgruntlement among the Celtic fans there as a wasteful ball forward from Scales goes all the way through to Zarutsky in the Kairat goal.
Yeah, initially, Adamida comes off, which we were been talking about. He drags the centre half out of position, but nobody from midfield was making that run apart from Maeda, and it wasn't a great ball from Scales. I fully understand that, but I want to see one of the midfielders going through where Adamida has created the space.
Not Maeda, because I think it's a long run for either Nugent or Hatate to get in there when he just came out. I think it was Maeda who made the run. It was just the pass was overhit, which has kind of been the theme so far.
Yeah, there's been 4 or 5 of those, haven't there? As Celtic try to find a way through this well-marshalled back line, with the 2 sitting in front of them, as Carter Vickers now plays it to Ralston, right hand side, quickly closed down, applauded by the coach Rafael Urazbaktin, former Kairat player on a couple of occasions, took over last year and won that 4th league title in 2024, as Adamida does well to retain possession under a bit of pressure. Plays it back to Ralston. Just about a minute of added on time remaining at the end of this first period. 0-0 between Celtic and the Kazakhstan champions Kairat Almaty. Here's Scales just inside his own half, out to the left hand side for Maeda. Goes down, manages to hold on to the ball, and then plays it back in field to Carter Vickers. Maybe one final chance for Celtic to build, but they've given it away. Kairat defend it, and here's Satpaev coming forward into the Celtic half himself. Tries to come into a central area, runs into trouble in the end, and Tierney just hacks it forward. There's a Kairat player down off the ball in the meantime, well inside his own half. The referee certainly didn't notice anything amiss, and nor did I must admit. The referee comes to just check on him. The ball's in the possession of the Kairat keeper Zarutsky.
I'll tell you what, they had a brilliant chance there. When that, I'm not sure who was it. I think it was Satpaev.
Yeah, Satpaev was the one that was breaking
the ball, and if he'd pick his head up and just slot in one of his players on the right hand side who was free, he was in and goal.
Tierney done really well to recover though. He's seen the run, but I think that the problem comes from the straight pass from Carter Vickers as well. Don't get tired of playing the ball wide. Don't get tired of playing the ball wide and trying to let James Forrest or Maeda get the fullback and then supporting them. But I do think you're going in at half time. I think Kairat are going to be the happier team, definitely.
Yeah, it is half time. It was Jorginho who was again the Kairat player who was down. He's making his way gingerly off the park just now, but it's a goalless first half at Celtic Park, and in truth Kairat Almaty, who had the ball in the back of the net after 11 minutes, albeit it was ruled offside. I think Martinovic got the final touch to take it home, but the flag was up and verified by VAR to chop the goal off. Jorginho had a shot blocked at that end as well before McGregor, just before the half-hour mark, had an effort charged down and deflected wide. Maeda had an opening 8 minutes before the interval, which was probably Celtic's best after a good move, but perhaps just took one touch too many, and the goalkeeper was able to block the effort in the end. And Arad had an effort from about 25 yards which flashed wide of Schmeichel's right hand post, but no goals in that first period. Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0.
Celtic in the UEFA Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
On BBC Sounds, it's 1997 when the streets of a housing scheme erupt.
Angry scenes at the Raplock estate in Stirling, outside the house of a convicted paedophile.
At the heart of the crowd, Big Mags Haney.
She wasn't the only person who stood up, she just happened to shout the loudest.
She made the headlines, but her fame soon turned to infamy.
The woman, known as Big Mags Haney, left the area last night under police escort.
Dubbed the matriarch of the crime family from hell,
this was someone who sat in the middle like a queen.
A community decided it was time to take a stand. Crime Next Door, the ballad of Big Mags. Listen first on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to European Sports Sound with me, Kenny McIntyre, Tom English alongside me in the studio. Just read that trail there on the Mags Haney podcast. I started listening to it. It's absolutely fantastic.
I'm on the last episode.
Oh, you're ahead of me. I'm two and a half in.
It's terrific stuff.
It's great, really good. So tune into that. We're promoting it, but we're not doing it without having listened to it. Serious recommendations. It's really gripping stuff. This game is gripping, Tom. I don't think it's quite how we expected it to go, because I think it's fair to say, not sure the better side, but certainly the more threatening side of Kairat Almaty right now.
Yeah, look, I mean, the stats would back up the evidence of our own eyes here. Celtic have 71% possession, 0 shots on target, an XG of 0.12, and only 9 touches in the Kairat box, penalty area. Kairat have had 10 touches. Kairat's XG is higher. So Celtic have created nothing, really, with an awful lot of possession. There's a huge, on the night, there's a huge kind of lack of creativity, accuracy, urgency and intensity, I think, in Celtic's play here. They're up against a very well-organised team, better than I thought they would be.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment, isn't it, Aidan? They're just, I think a lack of intensity is the right phrase. It's just a bit flat right now from Celtic.
Yeah, it's slightly lethargic, I think. But I think there's always an element of disrespect as well thrown at kind of Eastern European teams or teams from this kind of champions path. I think everyone before the game thought this would be quite a comfortable victory for Celtic. But look, going by Celtic's form so far since the season started, I don't think anyone was really expecting Celtic to blow this team away, if I'm being totally honest. But I have to give credit to Kairat. They've been very, very well organised. They've been compact, difficult to play through. Anytime Celtic have tried to play through the centre of them, apart from the Maeda chance, I think they've been found wanting. And look, on the counter attack, they've been very, very threatening. They've got some good players up front. I think Sapayev looks a talent. He's only just turned 17. He's been creative. I think Jorginho's had a few chances also. I do think Celtic, you probably have to move the ball a bit quicker and try and get themselves more chances. Like the XG you said there is obviously very, very alarming for a first half.
It is frustrating, alarming right now watching this Celtic performance, Pat. It's got to get a whole lot better.
Yeah, listen, I'm shocked actually that Celtic haven't made more created more opportunities in this first half. I know that they've had 71% of possession. That's a lot of possession, and you haven't created anything. You haven't got in behind. I would stay away from James Forrest. I don't want to see Anthony Ralston running beyond them, filling the space. Leave it 1v1 and let him see if he can create something, especially on the outside. Coming inside, they've got 2 bodies in there, they've got a back 4. There's no space. There is absolutely no space for them to create anything through the middle. It's got to be in the wide areas. Maeda is threatening at times, and that what this other team, the team they're up against, Kairat Almaty, the 4 players up front are a real threat. They're a real threat. We talked about it beforehand, European teams playing on a transition. You can see that's drilled into them. They're well organised, but as soon as they won the ball, those 4 players higher up the ball. Sapayev, the young 17-year-old, Jorginho getting into great positions, and Nielsen staying high up the pitch, but he can move around.
He's working back as well.
Yeah, and he's absolutely. And Garmiko, they are the threat for Celtic, and what Celtic can't afford tonight is to lose a goal. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to actually win this game and go out to Kazakhstan in the lead. They need to get a goal early now in this second half, but they need to do it. I also want to see the odd midfielder running beyond Adamida, whether it's a midfielder or whether it's James Forrest or Maeda coming in on the inside and just making a run without the ball when they've got good possession. Everything's in front of
that is the key.
Almaty.
That's the key. Everything seems to be in front of them. That is the key. And I think that you said that you don't want to see Anthony Ralston backing up James Forrest, but also I think you look at most of the best chances or the best moments in the game have probably came from that left hand side with Kieran Tierney backing up Maeda.
Aidan, could you develop that a bit for us, please? Because I had Ian McCall in here last week, who was a winger himself, and he was talking about how he used to get frustrated when his full-back went inside and he felt that was occupying space that he could potentially go into. So, as a great wide player yourself, what did you want to see from your full-back?
Listen, I think the way Celtic play, that is drummed into the wide players and the fullbacks to back up their wide players and make that kind of run inside, that kind of underlap. But for me as a player, I literally wanted my fullback to stay away, give me the ball, we can 1v1. And I had a great relationship with Lee Naylor when I was at Celtic, and he used to understand that. He would be like, if I see you 1v1, I'll go nowhere near you. Whereas I do think it has crept into the modern game now. We see it a lot with Celtic, we've seen it the first half especially. James Forrest's got a 1v1 wide, and you've seen Anthony Ralston or Alistair Johnson kind of take up that space beyond them and bringing more players into his area, where just leave him 1v1, because he did have a great opportunity where I think he went past the fullback on the outside and clipped a great ball into the box, and I think Hatate played it back into the box from a kind of wider position. But you kind of want that from your wide players. Maeda's always going to do it. He will take the ball 1v1 going outside, but sometimes there is too much of a backup from a fullback and maybe trying to get too involved in the play.
You get to mix it up a little bit. You know, if you keep doing it all the time, then it's easily read. And they've got two sitting holding midfield players that will always track. They'll always see that coming, and they will track that space. That ends up with 2-3 players in an area where the winger wants to go. And James is coming on the inside, and he's running into traffic, and he's got no pass when he comes inside.
There's a message in here, Tom, with two Celtic fans earlier on joining just before kick-off. Paddy is sitting at one of the Celtic fans. He's got in touch again. He said, this is why Celtic fans are frustrated with the lack of transfer activity. Not replacing Kyogo, letting Kuhn go whilst Jota is injured, and not replacing either leaves us with no imagination or penetration up front. He also said, and you pointed out right away, Tom, and now it looks like Alistair Johnson could be out long term.
Yeah, it looks like a hamstring injury, and he's right. You know, this game is the Celtic performance is desperately lacking in dynamism, the dynamism that a Jota could well provide, but obviously he's injured until next year. Kuhn at his best provided it. Kyogo provided it for many years. So all those guys are unavailable now. This is a diminished Celtic team compared to Celtic teams of the last couple of seasons. No doubt about it. Brendan Rodgers, he's got to, if they carry on like this and it finishes 0-0, Brendan Rodgers is going to do well to keep himself under control in the press conference afterwards, because he's going to be peppered with questions about what were you missing tonight, the creativity, the spark, and the transfer saga is going to come out again in spades, and it's going to be difficult for him. This is a kind of, it could well improve, but this performance from Celtic right now is looking very, very flat, lacking in imagination, pace, dynamism, invention. Lacking is so much. They're just meandering their way through this game.
What does he do, Pat Bonner, to change things, the Celtic manager?
I'm not 100% sure, to be perfectly honest. I think, as we talked about already, you know, maybe change a little bit tactically, and get the wingers. I would like to see the wingers make those little runs also, not just stay wide all the time. Make those little runs, come on the inside, find the space, and then run either beyond or get a ball in those little pockets. When they've got lots of possession, but they have to be more creative in that, and the movement off the ball is critical. Adam Ida, people will criticise him, but he's at no service whatsoever. I think he had a word tonight with him to come deep, and he had come deep a couple of times. He pulled the centre half out of position. He made a few runs down the side, but he's had no ball in the box whatsoever to get on the end of tonight.
He's had a couple, but obviously, listen, I think the balls that came in are kind of the one at Forrest hit and went to the back post. The first two from Kieran Tierney were slightly under hit, but I feel a wee bit sorry for him, because listen, I think he understands the pressure that he's under, being the marquee sign that he was last season, and now he is the main number 9. The pressure's on. I think a goal would do his confidence a lot of good. I can just see little things in his game that kind of make me look as if, make me think he's lacking a little bit of confidence. He's second guessing every touch I think he's taking, every run he's making, and he is staying in that central area and kind of occupying the two central defenders. But I would like to see him make runs down the channel as well.
Yeah,
but on you, Pat, yeah.
No, I was going to say he tried to make a couple of runs, but the ball never came. You know, it was either because they're quite high, they've got almost 4 players up front, striker plus 3 in behind. Every time the Celtic get into a position there, they're putting them under a little bit of pressure, making them just pass the ball again. The only time that Adam looked to make that run maybe down the side or beyond, the ball never comes, and that's frustrating also for a striker.
I think that's what Celtic have to do the second half. That is that instead of 4 or 5 touches on the ball and passes side to side, I think it is 1-2 passes, and it's forward passes. I mean, you only pass sideways or backwards in football, you can't pass forwards or run forwards. I just think there has to be a bit more penetration, and I think it's encouraging, because listen, I think Kairat had chances to score there. I think that definitely Jorginho, when he took too long on the ball, but I definitely think that we'll hopefully see a reinvigorated Celtic side the second half.
Elsewhere in tonight's Champions League playoff matches, half-time scores: SC Basel 1, SC Copenhagen 1, Bodo Glimt 3, Sturm Graz 0, Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0, Fenerbahce 0, Benfica 0. Just a reminder, tomorrow we have coverage of both our teams in Europe. So Aberdeen's Europa League playoff match at home to FCSB, formerly Steaua Bucharest. You can watch that on BBC Scotland and on the iPlayer. And also tomorrow night on BBC Radio Scotland and on BBC Sounds, Hibs home tie against Legia Warsaw in the Conference League playoffs. So all that to look forward to tomorrow night. But this evening, Tom, it's all about Celtic and how they got a whole lot better in the second half.
They just need more threat. I mean, Adam Ida has just come up here on our live page. He's failed to have a single touch in the opposition box in that first half. Not one touch in the Kairat box.
Would you blame him for that, though?
No, but it's just a kind of reflection. It's a reflection of the general malaise of Celtic's attacking performance. Everything is getting intercepted. Kairat have been very, very good. Concentration levels have been very high. Their discipline levels have been very high. But it's just the Celtic's performance is just blah. You know, it's very pedestrian.
Well, let's see if it improves in the second half. The teams are coming back out at Celtic Park. Celtic against Kairat Almaty in their Champions League playoff match with Pat Bonner, Aidan McGeady and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Well, Brendan Rodgers has acted at half-time. He's made a change to remove Adam Ida from the fray and bring on Yang, and that will mean Dyson Maeda through the middle for Celtic. So let's see how that changes things. Certainly Yang, Paki, you and I discussed it for a short time on Friday. When he came on, I felt that he'd made a good impression when he got involved last season, Yang, and so he's got an opportunity here in the second 45 to try and boost Celtic in this second period and get them on the score sheet and get an advantage to take out to Almaty next week, which they might well need.
Well, the two things: one, Maeda has got that pace, and I would like to see him. I think he will naturally run in beyond, but he has to get the ball. Yang has ability in the wide area to go and beat players on a 1v1 situation, and let's see, can he perform tonight.
We're back underway then. No changes for the Kazakh outfit, and Yang could be in immediately up to the edge of the penalty area. Here he is, has to check back, but still he has it and plays it out to the right hand side. Forrest with his shot, and it's just been grasped by the goalkeeper. So close to an opener within seconds of the restart. Yang immediately involved, and James Forrest denied.
I think that actually hit the post.
It might well have done, yeah.
Actually off the post and rebound into goalie's arms. Great play from Yang though. Great ball from Tierney that shows you straight away. That running behind from Yang, immediate impact.
Yeah, we talked about it, isn't it? You know, the running behind, and that's exactly how they started off. I'm sure they've done analysis on that, and they've given that information across to the players. Nearly worked.
And here they come again down the left hand side, quickly shuffled out to Yang once more. Celtic with their tails up at the start of this second period. Tierney's attempted cross is blocked. And just listen to the change in atmosphere inside Celtic Park as the fans try to get behind their side and urge them on to an opening goal. Forrest denied by the goalkeeper, might well have been with the aid of the post as well, just down at that far corner, as Nugren now has the opportunity with the corner on the left hand side. 0-0 it stands as Nugren sends it in near post. It's missed at the near post by Yang. Carter Vickers tries to help it on towards goal. Yang picks up once more and gets it back to Forrest. Already made a positive impact as Yang. Forrest plays it back the way to Ralston. Now it's Carter Vickers midway inside the Kairat half. Now Ralston tries to lift it over the top. There's Hatate across goal. Wonderful ball, but Maida just couldn't get there to turn it into the back of the net. But the opening couple of minutes of this half have been more positive the entire 45 plus of the first period. 0-0.
Well, it's again an inner ball over the top, isn't it? And that's exactly what you have to do. If you can't go through them, you've got to go over them. And that was two now really good opportunities for Celtic early on in the second half. And it's got the crowd going, which is really important inside the stadium.
Goal kick then to be taken by Zarutsky, who just managed to keep that James Forrest effort out at the very start of the second period. And Nielsen can't bring the ball under control and loses it to McGregor. Now it's Yang. Yang's done well to get away from Glazer there, but the referee says he used an arm to control it, and it will be a free kick the way of Kairat Almaty. But they are somewhat rocking at the start of this second half, been on the back foot as that reinvigorated Celtic that Aidan McGeady was looking for have certainly come out the traps. But crucially, they haven't as yet managed to find the goal that they so desire, as Martinovic takes the free kick just inside his own half, looking for Ed Nielsen. It's over him and Carter Vickers, then comes to Ralston midway inside his own half. Ball forward for Maida, immediately turns it round the corner for Forrest down that right flank. Celtic coming forward once more, poked forward by Forrest for Nugren. Right hand side, cuts back on his left, right hand side of the box, takes a shot, big deflection, and behind for another corner.
Marked improvement so far. 5 minutes gone, 3 minutes gone. Marked improvement so far.
Short corner's taken, then flighted to the back post. The keeper stretches and takes it with Tierney and Scales trying to get round the back, but the goalkeeper did well. And it remains Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0, with 48 and a bit minutes gone here in the east end of Glasgow. Celtic though dominating the outset of this second period as Yang tries to lift it forward. That's a poor ball from the Korean on that occasion, but he has already made a difference.
It looks very lively. I mean, he's waiting for his opportunity, and there's no bigger opportunity than comes to the Champions League. But he's 3-4 minutes on the pitch. He's done more than I say a lot of players done in the first half. I think the change in personnel also definitely helps with Maeda being through the middle. There's one thing that you know you're always going to get off Maeda, it's constant running and it's pressing, and these defenders will understand that.
It's picked up by Yang just inside his own half. Now it's Tierney back to Yang, left hand side. Tierney once more. Kairat Almaty barely had a kick of the ball in this second period so far. 5 minutes of it gone as Carter Vickers plays it up to the halfway line for Maida, who turns it out to the right hand side to Ralston. Now it's Forrest in the halfway line, back to Ralston once more. Remember, he was introduced in the first period for the injured Alistair Johnston. Here's Scales now, forward looking for Hatate, manages to stretch and bring it under control. Yang's ahead of him, left hand side, just rolls it infield. Yang's made the run, tries a cute little back heel, looking for Nugren. Kairat managed to pick up possession, and then there's a free kick awarded to the visitors' favour as Gromyko goes down. I think they're just looking for anything at the moment to give themselves a bit of a breather, because it's been maybe an onslaught would be over-egging it, but certainly Celtic have started the second half a lot better than they played in the first. 0-0.
Young's getting in some great positions, just his final delivery is just lacking slightly, but he is getting in some great positions, and I think he's got a great relationship with Hatate. This first 5 minutes, he's getting a lot of the ball. I think something good is going to come from this left hand side.
Here's McGregor over the halfway line, out to the right hand side to Nugren, and then back to Ralston, who finds Hatate, and then Carter Vickers for Scales, crossing the halfway line and then bringing it out to the left hand side to Yang, immediately forward for the on-rushing Tierney. Tierney towards the near post, headed away by Martinovic, helped on, but Kairat can no longer keep possession for any longer than a couple of seconds, a couple of touches. And here comes Nugren once more, pokes it forward. Ralston's ahead of him into the near post, half clear, in slides Celtic player who's hurt himself. Didn't actually see who that was going for it.
Nugren, actually. I think he slid in when he didn't really have to, and he's gone down.
He's fully committed there, and he stayed down inside the penalty area as Tierney is brought down right down below us, but Nugren's going to need a bit of treatment. He's really was not holding back there as he went to try and win possession inside the Kairat penalty area. Kairat got it clear, and it's still, after 52 minutes almost, Celtic 0, Kairat 0.
When I seen him sprinting towards the ball, I was thinking Maeda was close, and I thought Maeda maybe looks, if he gets a touch on the ball, could be a potential penalty, but Negrin just comes and just wipes everybody out. But it was a good tackle, but again, one that's probably not needed. I think Maeda was closer to the ball.
The referee checks on the new signing, and he's back on his feet, the Swede. And he'll trot back to the halfway line where play is about to resume with Kieran Tierney taking a free kick. We've played just over 7 minutes of the second half, still 0-0, but Celtic in the ascendancy right now as the ball's played back to Schmeichel, and now it's out the other side with Carter Vickers for Forrest, but 10 yards inside Kairat territory. Ralston goes back the way, and he looks to lift it over the top, looking for Maeda. Sorokin watches it all the way, and from the edge of the penalty area heads it forward. McGregor though gets his head to it, helps it out to the left hand side where Yang gets it back to McGregor, and now it's Tierney for Scales just inside his own half. Steps forward into a bit of space, out to the left now for Yang. Yang up against the fullback, trying to take him on. Yang to the byline, just overdoes it, and it's good defending in the end from Brinsky, but Scales steps in ahead of Nielsen and wins it back for Celtic. Left hand side, you can hear the crowd getting more involved now in a positive fashion. They like what they're seeing from their team, but they would love to see a goal, of course, as Carter Vickers almost gets the ball caught in between his feet under pressure from Jorginho, but gets it back to Schmeichel in time, and Celtic recycle from Scales to Hatate and now into Maeda. Looks for Tierney, who is well advanced, but he can't find a teammate. Martinovic almost closed down there by Maeda. The break of the ball goes the way of the goalkeeper, though. Zarutski, he smothers it before Maeda can latch onto it. 54 minutes almost on the clock. Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0. But whatever Brendan Rodgers has said, and certainly what he's done in terms of the tweaks to his personnel and system, it's certainly beginning to work. As McGregor is taken out of play there by Nielsen, right in the centre circle, right in the centre spot almost, and the free kick goes Celtic's way. McGregor takes it quickly. Hatate now, left hand side, out to Yang, up towards the penalty area once more, looking to give the full back another problem into the box. It's well taken again by the keeper. Maeda again trying to make that near post run, couldn't connect with it in time. The goalkeeper has shown safe hands throughout the 55 minutes we've already played, and he's still goalless.
Yeah, well, here's a chance.
Down the left hand side goes Satpaev.
Gone out.
Yeah,
I was just going to say the goalkeeper picked up a brilliant position there. You know, he didn't stick on his near post. He took that extra yard, maybe yard and a half out so he could deal with a ball that's cut back like that, and he dealt with it really, really well. It was good play from Yang. Really positive 1v1 situations.
Kairat pick up possession on the left hand side of the penalty area. Their first attack of the second half, but it's a poor effort in the end that comes in way over the top, and Celtic immediately take the goal kick and try to get moving forward as Tierney finds Yang infield for Hatate. Hatate just there ahead of Glazer and gets it back to Tierney. 55 on the clock, 0-0.
Far more energy about this second half performance from Celtic. I think just keep getting the ball to Yang. Why, they've definitely got the beating of the fullback. Just his final ball was let him down a couple of occasions, but he definitely looks the biggest threat so far.
Hatate does well to stretch and get that pass from Nygren, back with the Swedish midfielder. McGregor now finds Nygren again, a bit of room in the middle of the park, arrows it out to Forrest on the right hand side, looking to take on Sapalov. Who did that come off last? The answer is the defender, but it's going to be a Celtic corner.
Nice build-up play there, and that was a really good ball from Nygren to pick out Forrest, and again, like, he doesn't beat the guy, but he gets a corner, which is what you want.
Partial success, but
short one taken. Forrest drops his shoulder, gets to the byline, challenged again, and behind for another corner. That was desperate defending there by the teenager Satpaev. Managed to just get back on Forrest and knock the ball out of play once more for another Celtic corner right hand side to be taken by Nygren once more, the left footer. What can he produce on this occasion? It's an in-swinger. Scales goes up there, wins the header, but it's blocked in the 6-yard box and then hoofed clear, and Ralston will have to bring it under control, and he'll go all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel midway inside his own half, who will try to begin the next Celtic attack as Ralston. Oh, it's a poor touch from Carter Vickers, and Nielsen's going to try and trips Michael. Oh, he's onto the roof of the net. That is so close to the opening goal. It's brilliant vision from Nielsen. Michael was struggling to get there after the poor touch from Carter Vickers. Unfortunately for Celtic, Nielsen was a foot too high, if that. 0-0.
Great effort, but it was a poor calculation there from Carter Vickers. Just took his eye off the ball and gives him an opportunity.
Well, listen, if that's the best chance they've got of scoring, you take that. But well, of course, lapsing concentration from Carter Vickers. But I think the biggest difference I'm seeing so far from the Celtic team is how quickly they're passing forward. The energy, of course, we're closing down, but how quickly they're passing forward, giving the opportunities for James Forrest and for Yang to get wide in 1v1.
Here's Hatate for Nugren, up to the edge of the box, tries to get it back to Hatate. That doesn't come off. Kairat get it clear, and Nielsen holds it up, and they move it out to the left-hand side for Offrey Arad. Arad comes back in field, looking for Nielsen inside the centre circle, and now coming forward is Gromyko, right-hand side. Fullback comes outside of him. Gromyko goes out to the left, sat by Ever. The stretch couldn't reach it, and that move breaks down. And Celtic just need to make sure they don't start allowing Kairat back into this second half, because they have been by far and away the better team, Celtic, in this second period. But little lapses like that Carter Vickers one, which, as rare as it was, almost cost Celtic the goal. And Nielsen from probably around 40, maybe even more yards just over the top, as Kasper Schmeichel backpedalled. Not sure he was getting there had it been on target. Celtic have been told to get on with it. I'm pretty sure they're not time wasting, but referee nonetheless signalling for Anthony Ralston get the throw in taken. Kairat win the ball back through Martinovic, and he gets it back to his goalkeeper, who launches it over the halfway line. Carter Vickers chests it down to Hatate, claimed for a handball, and I think the referee saw it, looked like it was from the Japanese midfielder, and the momentum just goes out of that Celtic move. 59 minutes on the clock. Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0 on this Champions League playoff round qualifier, first leg.
I think Celtic at this stage, if they get one goal, they would be happy with it, and then just maybe build them. But they need to get it early now and try to keep the momentum up and see what kind of reaction that from Almaty if they want to go behind, but they cannot afford to lose anything, that's for sure.
No, I don't think they're looking in any danger of losing, apart from losing a goal.
Silly mistakes
at Nielsen, lapse of concentration from Carter Vickers. But you kind of find this lull in the second half when the team don't score. Anxiousness from the stands can kind of transmit onto the pitch, and it's just about the Celtic players keeping focused and keeping doing what they're doing, because so far they've been the better team, way better team.
Martinovic heads out of play right in front of the Celtic technical area, and the home side will have a throw in to be taken by Kieran Tierney, 15 yards inside. Kairat half down the left hand side, looking for options. McGregor goes and offers him one down that left flank. He's not sure about it though. Nugren also making a move. In the end it goes into Yang's feet. He's challenged at the expense of another throw in to Celtic. An hour gone, 0-0 at Celtic Park between Celtic and Kairat Almaty, and certainly the Kazakh side have given Celtic a stiffer test than I'd anticipated, as Sorokin heads it out of play for another corner. I'm sure Celtic were well versed in just exactly how good Kairat would be, as the short corner's taken to Forrest from Nugren. Forrest finds a half a yard, swings it in, good punch. Only half clear though, as it's returned to the edge of the penalty area. Hatate helps it back forward, and backpedaling again went Zarutsky, who clutches that one. There's a Kazakh player down inside his own penalty area. It might be Nielsen actually back doing the defending, and Zarutsky's looked pretty solid, pretty composed in that Kairat goal.
Yeah, very strong.
He's had. Very strong, good handling,
experience. He knows the game, and he knows how to deal. He's very good on crosses. He's come and collected a few. That time he was under a lot of pressure. Used his almost trailing hand to create a little bit of momentum and space where he could go in and punch it with his other hand. So really good goalkeeping.
Very assured. The only thing I would say on that corner there is I preferred the fact that it wasn't an outswinger. It was a short corner to Forrest, because I'd always think that puts more pressure on the goalkeeper, and that's what's needed from these set pieces.
So, wow, 61, almost 62 minutes into this game, and still no goals have arrived. As Kairat Almaty play out from the back. It's their experienced captain Martinovic out to the right hand side as forward comes Rinsky. It's actually crossed the touchline off Yang. It will be a throw in taken by Rinsky back to Martinovic, right hand side, deep in his own territory, plays it up to the halfway line. It's going to be a foul, and a free kick goes Celtic's way for the challenge by Gromyko on Tierney. Free kick just inside the Celtic half.
Yeah, they're trying to kill the momentum, and that Celtic have created in the second half, and just those free kicks are just stopping the game a little bit. And here's Carter Vickers picking up and crossing the halfway line. Kind of with just about everyone behind the ball right now as Maida comes and plays it back to Carter Vickers. Out to the right hand side it goes to Forrest, and now Nygren. Wonder just how long before we see further Celtic changes. Arne Engel just making his way back into the technical area just now after a warm-up. He would be one of the prime candidates, you'd imagine, as Yang has it. Half-time substitute, left-hand side, gets away from his marker. Possibility of getting a cross in potentially. Instead he tries to find the feet of James Forrest. Doesn't manage to do so. Scales comes through the back of Ed Nielsen. Referee plays the advantage with Kairat on the offensive. Ed Nielsen's still down though, and eventually just turned out of play, and Celtic fans don't like it, but the Scales certainly took a bit of Ed Nielsen as he went up for the aerial contest. I think he came down on top of him, didn't he? But he's up on his feet. There's nothing on him. He's a big strong centre forward. Let's get on with it.
It goes back to what you said, no, Park, about killing the momentum of the game the second half though. That's twice in the last 2 minutes Ed Nielsen's been down, so they're definitely playing, they're playing their hand well, I think. Stifling this momentum.
Kieran Tierney throws it long into Kairat territory to give them the ball back in sportsmanlike fashion, but certainly put them under a bit of pressure at the same time. Hooked forward over on that left hand side by Tapalov, and Celtic have possession back through Ralston on the halfway line. 64 played, no goals. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Join us for live commentary of Hibs against Legia Warsaw tomorrow night. You've got Aberdeen against Steaua Bucharest, or FCSB as they're now known, on the TV on BBC Scotland. Plenty of European football on the BBC this summer, and we'll continue to cover the Scottish teams in Europe throughout the season. Here's James Forrest trying to make sure that Celtic are in the top tier competition, as they have been the last 3 seasons. Thrown over on the far side with Ralston to take. 25 minutes to play as Forrest gets to the byline. He's just had the ball nicked off him, but it is going to be a corner kick. Kairat complaining that the ball had already crossed the byline, but the assistant and the referee think otherwise, and it will be a corner kick right hand side for Nygren to take once more. Left footed. Celtic looking for the opening goal here, and the roof would be raised off the stadium were it to go in here. It's Nygren swinging it back post. Keeper comes, gets something of it, goes down to the deck, and the referee agrees with him that he was fouled in there. There's at least one Kairat player also hitting the deck, and the referee buying their claims and pointing for the free kick to Kairat Almaty. 65.5 minutes played. Celtic nil, Kairat Almaty nil.
Wasn't a great corner, was it, Aidan? Big loopy corner.
Slightly floaty, but I think you've got to give the goalkeeper credit again, because he was being impeded there, and he actually has come away with actually keeping the ball not away from the danger area. But you probably Celtic are going to look to, they've got to make some of these set pieces count, because in the last 5-10 minutes it's not been as free flowing as it was the first 5-10 minutes of the second half. So Kairat look as if they're kind of getting a little foothold in the game in terms of the defensive shape, so play has to be slightly faster.
Kairat pick up through the right winger Gromyko. trying to come forward here. Carter Vickers just launches it over the halfway line. Sorokin nods it down to the left hand side to Tapalov. Forward it goes, looking for Satpaev, who mercifully has been pretty quiet despite the big build up he got. Sure, he's going to be a star of the future. Certainly he started the season very impressively. As Carter Vickers plays it square to Liam Scales on the halfway line, and now it's Hatate. Carter Vickers once more, just stepping into the Kairat half. Now it's Callum McGregor back to Scales, and now Carter Vickers once more. Just approaching.
Carter Vickers drive forward there a few times, you know, and create, you know, something by the space is there for him to exploit. I know he doesn't want to step out of his defensive role too often, especially with this team playing on a transition, but you've got to be creative.
Here's Yang trying to get to the byline as Arne Engels gets some instruction from Brendan Rodgers. He's about to come on, you would imagine. Yang tries to get it back there. Hatate almost comes instead for Scales. Celtic have kept possession. McGregor square for Ralston, almost closed down there by Satpaev, but Celtic still have it. It's Scales midway inside Kairat territory, squeezes it through there for Yang at the edge of the box. Back to McGregor. He gets out to Ralston and then out to the right hand side here for Forrest. Forrest steps inside, about 30 yards from goal, out to the right flank for Ralston. Back to McGregor. McGregor infield to Forrest. Gets turned at the edge of the box. Little interchange there, and a back heel from Nugent. I think he was looking for McGregor to continue his running, didn't quite come off. And the ball is out for a throw into Kairat. I think Celtic thought it was theirs, but the assistant says otherwise. And Kairat Almaty will have the throw in here. 22 to play, 0-0 it stands. Arne Engels certainly is stripped and ready to come on. Looks like it'll just be that single change just at the moment as the young Belgian prepares to come on. Kairat clear the lines down the left hand side. Emilson won't be able to keep it in, and Engels is ready to come on, but Celtic have taken the throw in so quickly he doesn't have time to come on in that. Stoppage. Ralston under pressure, left hand side, too much pressure from Satpaev. He's barged into, and it'll be a free kick this time, which again is quickly taken, but the assistant's already put his flag up to say it's substitution time.
I see just those couple of opportunities that Young's had, where he's had the beat of a defender, he's just taken that extra step. He seems a bit reluctant to kind of cross the ball with his left foot, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. What I've been impressed also with Kairat Almaty is they've got their distances really good when they're closing down. You know, one goes, a second goes, a third goes, and they've just had a little bit of pressure put on Celtic that they can't actually get their head up to pick that forward pass.
There's very, very few gaps between the midfield and defence, and along between each player as well. There's very few gaps. At this stage though, you are needing someone with a bit of individual brilliance, or you're needing someone to take someone out of the game, or you're needing an overload out wide, and that's when you're kind of relying on that. It's difficult because they're in such a good shape.
Engels on for Forrest. Nugren's going out to the right hand side. Here he is trying to clip that forward. It's watched by Martinovic, but skews his header behind for another Celtic corner, and you've got the option of Engels now as well as Nugren to take this one. It's Engels who's taking charge. He's got the right foot. This would be the outswinger unless he plays it short. There's another ball slightly on the pitch there, so Engels has to go and knock that away. 20 minutes to play, 0-0 at Celtic Park. Celtic desperate to take an advantage across to Kazakhstan next Tuesday. We'll have live coverage of that here on BBC Radio Scotland as Engels prepares to take the corner, right footed, and it comes. Scales wins it at the near post, but it's over the top. Keeper for once comes off his line, didn't get anywhere near it. Scales got there first, couldn't get it on target, and keeper stayed down, and Celtic fans don't like it, but he's going to need a bit of treatment seemingly, and the referee pointed to his watch as if to say I will be adding all this on, but never feel that there's quite as much added on as is wasted in these situations. Keeper may actually be, they've called for a stretcher. He actually genuinely is in trouble here.
He's come. That's the first time he's come. But it was the quality of the corner in from Engels, pace and getting into the right area that caught him out, and he's obviously twisted his ankle. But obviously Scales just got too much on it. Just it's one of them. It's out swinger. You get your head on it, and it almost raises it high up over the crossbar. If it's an in-swinger, all you do is just, if it comes off your head, it's almost coming down the way.
Just need a little glance, but it's the first corner or first set piece that the goalkeeper's actually misjudged the whole night, and it looks like he's going to pay for it.
Yeah, he is. He's almost certainly going to have to come off here. That's certainly the signal that's been given. The stretcher's been called for, and the substitute keeper Tamirlan Anarbekov, the 21-year-old, is being readied. He's
I think he played at the weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, he has played the last couple in the league and 4 of the last 5, so he's not coming into this completely cold, which you would imagine is just as well, but looks like he's going to make his introduction unless there is a miraculous recovery out there for Alexander Zarutsky, who we've, I think, all been pretty impressed with in the Kairat goal so far this evening. 72 minutes on the clock as it ticks down further, but huge will be time added on, but that's a huge period of the game, isn't it?
Huge 20 minutes for Celtic. They need to try to get at least one goal. I felt that they needed more than that to go to Kazakhstan. They're capable of scoring out there, Kazakhstan. We know that. They're capable of beating this team out there, but it's such a long journey, and I don't know what the conditions are going to like. The pitch looks okay, what I've seen anyway on my research, but just you want to go with something just to force the opposition then to make a few tactical changes.
I think if the fans were anxious slightly before this game tonight in terms of how the team are performing from the start of the season, this is only going to add to it, if I'm being honest, because like you said, Patty, you do want to have a 2-3 goal lead going across there, because with no disrespect to Kairat, I think they started the game well. They've been very, very good defensively, but there probably just hasn't been enough invention on the park, especially in the forward areas.
Just to describe what's exactly happening right now, the keeper had kind of waved away the stretcher, and so it almost looked like he was going to continue playing, and now he's limped off at the back of the pitch, and so the substitute's still sitting in the dugout. It's unclear whether there's going to be any chance of Zarutsky recovering, but he's limping very heavily. Surely now the substitute keeper has to be brought on. I don't know what on earth the delay is, because he seemed to be ready initially.
That just kills again the momentum of the game.
That's exactly what they're trying to do, isn't it?
You know, how many fouls has Almaty got in this sort of almost that last 20 minutes, you know, but 5 or 6 fouls, and that all just stops the game, stops Celtic just getting that momentum going.
Yeah, well, here comes the substitution as Tamirlan Anarbekov is on to replace Alexander Zarutsky, and what you would really want to do if you're Celtic surely now is get an early test of this young goalkeeper, see if he's got the same credentials as his more experienced teammate, see what his mettle is like as in these closing 15 minutes, but it's going to be probably at least 20, probably more than that in fact, still to play. Plenty of time for Celtic to get on the score sheet, but 0-0 as it stands as the goal kick is taken, and now what's the problem here with the referee signalling for something?
Yeah, he took it outside.
It's not an ideal start, but
they're using every trick in the book, though, aren't they? Because the goalkeeper's 100% been told there to come off the stretcher, waste a bit more time, because there are 15-20 minutes left, like you said.
Anarbekov then eventually takes a legitimate goal kick, nodded over the halfway line not once but twice by Carter Vickers. Maida trying to get on the end of it, tries to bundle his way through almost, and is unable to do so. Picked up on the right hand side now by Gromyko, who just rolls it back the way to Marinsky. Marinsky will go back to his goalkeeper. Let's see what his first touch is like. He rather scoops it out of play, wasn't overly confident that one, and that will give Celtic maybe a bit of encouragement as they prepare to make a couple more changes. Austin Trusty's going to come on.
Yeah, I think Scales is going to go left back. I think Tierney's struggling slightly.
And the other change is going to be Yamada coming on. Yeah, Tierney, I think, is yet to play 90 minutes since coming up, and Nugren's the other player who's coming off. So Austin Trusty goes into partner Carter Vickers with Liam Scales moving to left back, and Yamada is going to go through the middle, Maida back to the left, and Yang out to the right hand side. Celtic shaking things up as they look for an opening goal in the closing stages of this game. 0-0 it stands. Here's Trusty on as a substitute, out to Scales, who's certainly able to play at left back, but it's clearly not his preferred position, and again underlines where Celtic's squad is, that they are using him there when Tierney's not able to play. Here's Trusty into the feet of Yamada. He can't hold on to it, given up far too cheaply. Gromyko picks up on the halfway line, just rolls it there. It's overhit actually to Arad, but Celtic win it back, and that's round the corner from Engels. There's a Kairat player down off the ball again, and Martinovic just hoists it forward. It's Arad who's down. The offside flag is up here. There'll be a Celtic free kick, but these time-wasting tactics are becoming pretty tiresome, certainly for the Celtic fans. 13 to play, Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0. And they may not be as experienced European campaigners as Celtic, but as you say, Aidan, they know every trick in the book to run down the clock.
That's exactly what they've done this second half. The first 10-15 minutes the team started very, very well. Celtic started very well, but there has been that lull that's kind of it's transmitted onto the pitch, I think, from the kind of anxiousness from the fans, and again after the first 10-15 minutes there's not really been that many chances created.
Carter Vickers back to Schmeichel inside his 6-yard box, keeps it going to Trusty. Trusty closed down but stays cool and scoops it out to Scales, and now Hatate bursting forward over the halfway line down the left hand side. Glazer going back with him. Scales is coming forward in support. He goes back in field instead to McGregor. 15 yards inside the Kairat half. Carter Vickers joins in out to the right hand side for Ralston, and now it's Yang over on that right flank, coming in to the angle of the box. Look, he's just overrun it, allows the sliding challenge to come in there from Arad, and Kairat pick up possession, not for long, but Martinovic steps in and finds Glazer, who will play it out to this right hand side to Gromyko, and now forward comes Marinsky. He's forced to check back by Maida. Gromyko goes down under the challenge of Scales. Referee blows the whistle. Free kick to Kairat Almaty with just over 11 minutes left to play of the 90 plus. A good chunk, you would imagine, of added on time. As Brendan Rodgers has a go at Gromyko for going down too easily. But,
any body contact now, they're down. They're looking for their free kick.
They are looking tired though, Kairat. That's one thing I'll say. This last 10 minutes they do look tired. I mean, I don't think they're even really looking to go forward. It has taken them out of them how well they've played defensively tonight.
Knocked out a play on this near side with Shin putting the pressure on. Scales will have the throw in midway inside Kairat territory, left hand side. Infield it goes to Hatate, who will immediately help it on to Carter Vickers. Ralston now, right hand side, plays it to Engels, midway inside the Kairat half, out to Yang on the right flank. Still looks pretty lively, looks to play Engels in right hand side, cut out well at the near post by Sorokin at the expense of a corner. Good play down that right flank. Engels has taken the corner very quickly into Yang. Yang right hand side into the penalty area he goes, tries to cut it back for Hatate. Hatate's touch is just a little heavy and allows Kairat to step in. McGregor's got it back though. Now it's into the area from Engels, takes a deflection on its way through. Arad gets it half clear. Engels and McGregor exchange passes and it's back with Engels. Hatate now. One goal can make all the difference for Celtic. It's Hatate into Engels, but he can't keep control of the ball, and it's cleared only as far as Carter Vickers. Celtic come again, 10 to play, 0-0. Hatate, deep cross, too far for Maida, out of play. Goal kick Kairat, Celtic 0, Kairat 0.
Yeah, it's a frustrating night, isn't it? Really, you know, that was when an underlapping run actually works when Ralston got in that particular time, but when he cut it back to Hatate, you expect him to have a better touch than he did at the edge of the box. It was closed down really quickly, but you've got to give credit to Kairat Almaty players. Every one of them was doing a really good job.
Carter Vickers gets it to Scales. Just under 10 to play. It's going to be a change here as Ricardinho prepares to come on for the visitors. Arad picks up in the middle of the park, sprays it out to the left hand side. Sampaio still looks full of running. He'll test Ralston, who turns it back to Kasper Schmeichel, who in turn gets it back out to the fullback. Good goalkeeping and Ralston plays it infield to McGregor. The crowd wants Celtic to get forward and get it forward quickly. 0-0 it stands as Ralston gets it back from his captain. Now out to the right hand side with Engels. Engels down the right flank for Yang. Yang takes a couple of touches, tries to get into the box. Sorokin half stops him. Yang still has it, and he's just out-muscled in the end, and it's seen out for a goal kick.
Positive play from Yang though, but you see how quickly they recover. That is the problem, that Celtic have to be far quicker in possession about going forward, because they recover so quickly. They've worked very, very hard the whole night. They've not threatened to go much at all this second half. I think they've only had that one opportune shot, from 45 yards, but Celtic are getting joy out wide. I think Yang's been a threat, but there's still been no real chances, no real clear-cut chances as of yet the second half.
Ricardinho is going to replace Ed Mielsen. Two Brazilians swapping positions. Ed Mielsen put a fair old shift in. He had that effort that Aidan's talking about from 40 odd yards, trying to chip Kasper Schmeichel as he pounced on a Cameron Carter-Vickers error, but it was just over the top. That's certainly as close as they've come in the second half. But here they come. It's Marinsky into the box right hand side, tries to cut it back, and Trusty sticks out the left leg and diverts it behind for a corner. That was a threat to the Celtic goal, but Trusty doing well to cut out the danger. But it will be a Kairat corner here on the right hand side.
Yeah, and the big boys are up, the two centre halves, Martinovic and Sorinko, two very, very tall guys. Obviously to be delighted that Ed Mielsen's gone off.
Corner kick then to be taken right hand side by the 17-year-old Satpayev. Kairat looking to silence Celtic Park with a late goal here. Satpayev in. That's a dangerous one. Oh, how did that stay out? Schmeichel grabs it on the line. It went to the back post and looked like it was going to be knocked over the line there, but somehow the effort ended up not being on target, and Schmeichel was able to grasp it right on the line. Here comes Celtic now at the other end. Hatate plays it for Yamada. Now it's Ralston across the near post, and Maida can't turn it goalwards, and Hack clear. Chances at either end there. 6.5 to play of the 90. Still 0-0 somehow. As Ralston picks up once more. We'll reflect on those chances just in a second in the next break of play, as Ralston sends it in, away by Sorokin, only as far as Hatate. Hatate just turns it back to Scales. Scales further back for Trusty, and now Carter-Vickers at the edge of the centre circle. McGregor gets it and then plays it back to Carter-Vickers, out to the right hand side to Ralston. Ralston for Carter-Vickers once more, steps forward, plays out to the right hand side, gives the full back an opportunity to stick the toe in before Yang could get there, but picked up again by Ralston. Now Carter-Vickers for Engels, right hand side. Celtic hoping for at least one more decent opportunity in this game to give themselves a potentially valuable lead to take out to Kazakhstan next week. Forward comes Hatate, almost at the byline, right hand side. Sliding challenge comes in to prevent the cross coming into the box. It will be another Celtic corner. They need to start making one of these count, as Engels goes across to that right hand side once more to swing this in. 0-0 with 5 of the 90 left to play. Arne Engels, right-footed Belgian, prepares to put this into the penalty area. Massive group at the near post. Can someone get on the end of it? It's Maida who got something on it but could only help it out of the penalty area, and Hatate will go and retrieve it. Spins away from his man, sends a lovely ball back in, well defended though by Sorokin, and Kairat will try and come forward here in the counter. Well intercepted there by McGregor, and it's very fortunate he was able to do that. Hatate won't be able to keep that in as it's knocked forward once more, and it's out for a throw into Kairat Almaty. Well, chances just a couple of minutes ago. First of all, the one for Kairat that Schmeichel just grabbed on the line. How that wasn't turned in, I'll never know.
It was a great ball, and they loaded the 6-yard box, didn't they? They put the big guys in there. Schmeichel's not going to be able to come and get any contact on it, and it was so lucky it just bounced into his arms. And then of course Celtic on the counter-attack nearly created something for themselves.
Again, you would have to say that even though Celtic have been, as you say, by far the better side in the second half, actually the clearer chances have come Kairat's way.
I would say so, and that comes from the right back making that forward run, and then him winning a corner, and then Kairat load the box and almost actually score. I don't know how it stayed out, because Schmeichel looked very, very far towards his front post also, but then within 30 seconds Celtic looked like they were almost scoring as well. And the game's definitely livened up the last 3-4 minutes, but Celtic need to keep this momentum, this pressure on.
Yeah, this place would erupt if they could just get that one goal. Might well be enough. Here is Yamada inside the penalty area, just tries to spin round the corner, and he's just maybe slightly caught the keeper there as he went for it. But again, I mean, the injury being suffered by the goalkeeper doesn't seem to be nearly as bad as he's making out, but Yamada just unable to. There's going to be further treatment required here. The referee has had a look. Maybe there is.
Yeah, but he slid into Yamada. You know what I mean?
Looking for the contact.
Yeah, he was almost. He slid all the way into him. He couldn't get out of the road. But yeah, very frustrating. Listen, 0-0. What are you thinking, Aidan?
If you're Kairat, you're coming out from this game. If it's 0-0 and you've played this way and you've stifled Celtic's pressure early in the second half, it's a fantastic result for them. The concerning thing is Celtic's kind of lack of clear-cut chances.
Yeah.
I would just like to see a little bit more penetration and a little bit
better in the second half, I've got to say. I think it was better in the second half. Right from the start, they played a few over the top to get in behind.
That has kind of faded. It's faded though, isn't it? That's the only thing you can say. Everything seems to have been a half chance. Even Jan coming inside, goes Forrest has hit the post very early on in the second half. But apart from that, everything seems to be. Kairat are playing. This is the second goalkeeper who's down now for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers having a word with the fourth official down there, no doubt to express his dismay at the way things are transpiring here. They have certainly taken every opportunity to run down the clock. I think that is fair to say. Sometimes fairly, perhaps not always though. But the goalkeeper remains on the deck. That's the substitute keeper, as Aidan points out, Tim Irlan. And Arbekov having come on to replace the number one just a short time ago. It will be ultimately a goal kick to Kairat Almaty when play eventually resumes. We've got just over a minute left of the 90, but I mean, we wouldn't be all that surprised if there's as much as sort of 8, 9, even 10 minutes.
I was going to say 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it could easily be that. It probably should be that.
It should be that, but I'm not sure if it will be.
I don't know, because the original goalkeeper was down for a good 3-4 minutes, and then this, I'm going to say there's absolutely nothing in that as well. Back up again. It just seems to be like these European teams. By the way, they're not a very experienced European team, but they seem to kind of know what they're doing when they're playing against a top team away from home. If this was Celtic against, say, Bayern Munich, and they were coming away from, the away leg with a 0-0 draw, going back to Celtic Park, you'd be praising the team.
Launched over the halfway line eventually by Arbekov and picked up here on the right hand side by Gromyko. Zinski plays it in. It's Ricardinho with the header, couldn't get it on target, but it's hacked away there. And Celtic, as much as they'd like to win this game, they'd love to win it, but
don't lose it.
Certainly cannot afford to lose it.
No, Anthony Ralston.
10 minutes added on. I think that's entirely reasonable, and that has rejuvenated the crowd, I think, to an extent as well. So still 10 minutes to play here. 0-0 as we just get into injury time here. Swung into Kasper Schmeichel's near post. He holds on to that pretty well, and try and bowl it out to the right hand side to Ralston. Back to Carter Vickers at the edge of his own penalty area. Back with Schmeichel once more, and then to the feet of Austin Trusty. Trusty brings it forward, plays it square to Carter Vickers, just inside his own half. Crosses the halfway line now. Trusty still available right in the halfway line. Here he is, his fellow American. Back to Carter Vickers once more. Everyone behind the ball for the Kazakh side. Now it's Yang. made a really positive impact after coming on. McGregor now for Scales. Celtic, they don't want to rush things as such, but they also could do with just putting a bit of pressure on the Kairat defence in these closing stages.
I don't think there's any problem with Carter Vickers stepping out there like what you've done, because they have one player up front at best on the counter-attack at this stage. I think Carter Vickers and Trusty stepping in to give themselves a bit more space and get the team forward up the pitch. They seem to be very side to side.
McGregor wanting to side a free kick there, it's quickly taken, it's out to Maida on the left hand side. Hattati just drops the shoulder and moves away from Glazer and back to Carter Vickers. Ralston on the right hand side, looks forward but goes back in the end to Carter Vickers once more. Fires it into the feet of Yamada, who does well to get it back to Hattati, and now Engels, he can't find a way through though, and just hacked over the halfway line. Kairat not particularly desperate to get themselves up the field here, they're just happy to sit in their shape.
Yeah, but I've been very impressed with their defending tonight. Now, I watched them at the weekend, and there was a very changed team. Here they are in the counter attack now again.
Yeah, Ricardinho pokes it forward. Gromyko will run. There's absolutely no way that is a free. I mean, that is just ridiculous. The assistant referee is a couple of yards away from that, and he must see the forward just throw himself to the ground under absolutely zero contact, I thought, from Carter Vickers.
Any contact you're going to throw yourself to the ground,
but I do think Carter Vickers didn't have to make the challenge. He's given the referee the opportunity to give the foul.
I didn't even notice him actually.
It did look like he kind of made contact, I think, but
yeah. And here's the two big centre halves up again. And it's going to be an in-swinger right into that 6-yard box.
Yeah, well,
watch the two of them try and make the run to the near post as well.
It's going to be Gromyko from the right hand side then, with the free kick 15 yards from. It's laid back and it's straight at Yang. Actually, that's a relief for Celtic there, as Maida tries to bring them forward, but Kairat win it back, hoisted forward onto the head of Ralston. Hattati will pick up, knocks it back to McGregor. It was a slightly awkward ball, but McGregor made the most of it, and now it's Engels on the right hand side. He was just caught there in the challenge. Celtic allowed to continue in possession. It's fired long diagonally. Yamada won't catch that, I don't think, and it will be a goal kick only to Kairat Almaty. We have played 3.5 minutes of the 10 added on, and Kairat letting Celtic off with that free kick. They didn't pose the type of threat we thought we were going to there.
No, listen, I got it completely wrong there. I'm saying, watch for the two centre halves making it across the front post, and it's a cutback, but wrong decision.
Yeah, considering the trouble they have given the Celtic backline when they have played it into that near post area, but not on that occasion, as Scales plays it back to Trusty just at the edge of his own penalty area. 0-0 it stands with 6 minutes of injury time left to play here at Celtic Park. 0-0 is certainly not disastrous by any stretch of imagination. Celtic could absolutely go across there and win, but you would generally be looking to take an advantage into that away leg. Brendan Rodgers felt he had enough in the squad here to see them through this playoff round. Kairat Almaty have showed they are by no means a pushover here tonight. They have threatened at times, they've been well organised defensively, and you have to imagine they will be even better at home as Celtic pick up through Scales at the edge of the penalty area. Can't find Yang though, and then Yang with the trailing leg just brings down Kairat player midway inside the Almaty half, and it will be a free kick to Kairat, and again they'll just slow things down as much as possible. 5 to play of injury time. Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0. Referee trying to get them to get a move on as the goalkeeper comes out of his box to take this free kick. And Arbekov, the substitute keeper, fires it forward on the left hand side looking for Ricardinho. Carter Vickers will just see that out of play, and immediately Kasper Schmeichel demands the new ball from the ball boy behind his goal and gets the goal kick taken quickly as Celtic look to move it upfield and try and find that clinching breakthrough goal. Here's Trusty, 10 yards inside his own half, up to the halfway line he comes, out to Scales left hand side, moves away there from Gromyko infield, back to Carter Vickers, who come forward once more, clips that into the area, looking for Yamada, comes to Hatate at the edge of the box, quickly closed down, couldn't get a clean shot away, out comes the keeper, it's done well, just knocks that out of his area and then just hacks it upfield under a bit of pressure again from Yamada, as Celtic will come once more. Scales, 4 minutes to play, 0-0 between Celtic and Kairat Almaty in this Champions League playoff round qualifier, first leg. Ralston back to Carter Vickers. Now Trusty. Everyone behind the ball once more for the visitors as it comes out to Scales. Looks to try and feed it into the feet there of Hatate. Quickly in was Glazer. Gromyko almost giving it away, but helped out there by Marinsky. And then a bit untidy in the middle of the park. Ralston heads it forward. Glazer. Oh, that's going to be a chance for Maida. Maida, oh, straight at the keeper. Oh, it's a huge chance for Dyson Maida. But from 15 yards, as he tried to shape it round the keeper, all he could do was put it straight into his arms. And it remains Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0.
No, the best chance for Celtic tonight. You know, there was a mistake really, and he's in. I think he could have carried on with it too, and maybe try and go round the goalkeeper, but he's taken it early, tried to bend it round him, but he never made any real good contact on the ball, and the goalkeeper had an easy flop and save.
I think you're right. I think he was inside the box, but he could have easily taken it in closer to the goalkeeper. There's no pressure on him whatsoever, but he has taken it early, and he's trying to aim for the outside post, but he brought it too far close to the goalkeeper, and simple save in the end. I don't think there's going to be a better chance than that.
Well, he'd have gobbled those up certainly last season. Absolutely on fire, and clearly had the confidence to take it early, maybe trying to catch the keeper unawares, but it was way too close to the substitute keeper, and a comfortable save as Glazer, who made that mistake, tries to feed it forward now for Ricardinho. Carter Vickers claims for offside. Play continues for the moment at least. Gromyko from distance, just wide. The flag goes up now.
It was offside.
It was offside, I think, and wouldn't have counted had it found the back of the net, but Gromyko not too far away. The Celtic fans trying to urge their favourites forward. 2 minutes of the 10 injury time left to play as Celtic prepare to take this free kick from midway inside their own half. Here's Ralston at the halfway line. 0-0 it stands between Celtic and Kairat Almaty of Kazakhstan.
Carter Vickers and Trusty are still on the halfway line though. They're still playing very, very deep. I'm not saying throw everything at Kairat here, but there is a chance that and there's going to be another opportunity surely.
Here is Carter Vickers. Kairat Almaty again sitting very deep as they look to see this out as a goalless draw. Hatate tries to feed it into Engels. It was overly intricate at that stage. It's a packed midfield and it couldn't get through, and here's Satpayev bringing it forward for Kairat, dispossessed though by Carter Vickers. Now Engels right hand side. We're into the final minute of added on time. It's still 0-0. Can Celtic produce something out the back here in the very final seconds? It's Austin Trusty on the halfway line, just stepping forward. Scales inside of him, closed down, back to Trusty left hand side, needs to go forward soon. Maida left flank, tries to cut in field away from Gromyko. He's halted, referee allows play to continue, no foul as McGregor picks up in a central area, plays it to Ralston, out to Yang, but it's intercepted and Kairat will come clear, and they just hold on to possession and see out this goalless draw, which would be a commendable result, you'd have to say, for them coming to an arena like Celtic Park and earning a draw. There's a free kick going Celtic's way on the right hand side. We're in the closing seconds.
This is what you want now, play quick.
It's closed down. Satpayev's going to get booked for that. He just didn't move back the 10 yards. Engels' free kick was blocked. This one's got to go in the box. It's now or never for Celtic if they want to take a lead to Almaty in 6 days' time. 0-0 it stands. Arne Engels over this free kick. Pretty much everyone forward at the edge of the penalty area now. And Celtic look for a late goal to give them victory in the first leg. Here comes Engels, right-footed. Scales will win this. Tries to head it, cross goal, but it's a weak header in the end. And the keeper able to bring that under control. Well, boos ring out round Celtic Park. as Celtic fail to make the breakthrough, and it feels like those boos might well be directed towards the director's box rather than the players who gave their all but just could not find a way through that Kairat Almaty defence. Both sides had opportunities. The best of Celtics came deep into stoppage time when Dyson Maida, after an error by Dan Glazer, found himself through on goal, but rather than curl it in at the back post, he only succeeded in curling it into the arms of the goalkeeper. Ed Nielsen almost chipped Kasper Schmeichel from 40 odd yards, also in the second half after a Carter Vickers error, but fortunately for Celtic it was just marginally too high and sailed over the crossbar. Kairat having had a goal chopped off in the first half for an offside correctly, and then Forrest within seconds of the restart denied by a combination of goalkeeper and post after Yang had made an immediately lively introduction at half time. But neither side in the end able to make the breakthrough. See Alistair Johnston incidentally down there on crutches. Hopefully there's good news on his injury to come, but Celtic still have a lot of work to do next week in Almaty when they make the trip out to Kazakhstan to try and ensure that they take their place in the Champions League once again. But at Celtic Park tonight in the first leg of the playoff, it finishes Celtic 0, Kairat Almaty 0.
Celtic in the UEFA Champions League playoff round.
Live on Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.